Falcons in the first playoffs in the history of their 13-year franchise have come onto the field. Stephen Daniels, an outstanding job in singing the national anthem. I'm Gary Bender along with Hank Stram. And Hank, there's been so much said about the blitz. What are the Eagles going to have to do to handle that blitz?
Well, they're going to be well prepared for the blitz, Gary. We're all sure of that. One thing that's a possibility, one thing that you have to consider as far as running is concerned is the possibility of using a double tight in kind of an offense. We might look for that early in the game, especially on the early passing down.
Now, the weather has really picked up. We thought we were going to have some real problems. It quit raining an hour and a half before. It doesn't look like it's going to affect the play at all.
No, I really don't think it's going to affect it that much. They had a tarp on the field. The field looks reasonably good, and as a result, we shouldn't have much of a problem from the weather standpoint.
So, for the first time in 18 years, the Philadelphia Eagles come into the playoffs. The Atlanta Falcons for the first time in their history. Fred Silva will be working today's game as we see the respective captains coming to the center of the field for the flip of the coin. Let's go down now and listen for the toss of the coin. So you can see number 7, Ron Jaworski, Bill Berge.
All right, Captain.
Let's pick it up now.
This is your coin. This is heads, tails. Heads, tails. Who's going? Please. Thank you. In the air, please. Heads is called. Tails is thrown. You want the football?
And so, as you can see, the Atlanta Falcons have won the toss. They have elected to receive. Philadelphia will be kicking off. As the crowd here, a sellout. This is the 7th sellout of the year for the Atlanta Falcons. They put tickets on sale, and they went like hotcakes down here in the Peach State. There's excitement. There's electricity in the air.
There's nothing like the excitement of a playoff game, Gary. It's one of the most exciting things in all of sport. And, of course, all of these young people are deeply involved in the emotional aspect of this game.
There's the crew. It'll be working the game. Fred Silva, the umpire, Lou Palazzi. These men today, the best in the business, ready to go. As kicking off will be Mike Michel. Lehman Bennett, the 40-year-old coach for the Falcons in his second year, directed his team to a 9-7 record. Michel, who will kick off, he will also do the punting. He was picked up after some injuries. And this young man, according to Dick Vermeil, is a real competitor. Dennis Pearson is back deep as the man for Atlanta. He's joined back there by Ray Strong, and this game is underway, the wild card playoff. It's going to be George Franklin, a former St. Louis Cardinal, who comes out to the 28-yard line. Stop is made by John Shira, and at the 28, Atlanta will set it up. And there's that offensive line. It's a young one. It's improving. It's given up 56 sacks, but Lehman Bennett feels the last 3 to 4 weeks it starts to come together. Wallace Francis, Billy Rickman, both of whom have 45 catches. Bartkowski, Bubba Bean, and Haskell stand back. And Dick Vermeil's side of the field, that's Bill Davis, will be sending in the plays. He'll be wigwagging him in. From the 38-yard line, Standback goes in motion. First play to Bubba Bean and nothing. Bubba Bean missed last week because a pinched nerve in his neck. There's Dick Vermeil, 42 years old on October 30th. He calls this the greatest thrill of his life, having a team in the playoffs. So the ball will be set up at the 27-yard line, and it's going to bring up second down 11.
Both teams like to run the football as much as they can, Gary, and we'll see how well they do this, especially early in the football game.
Atlanta on a second and 11. Haskell Standback all the way to the 35-yard line. Let's look at Standback on this run.
It was a play from the I formation. They had both receivers on the right side of the ball. There you see Standback going right through a nice hole. Beautiful blocking at the point of attack. And he picks up a nice gain on the play. Phil McKinley did a good job, the offensive right tackle, number 73 on the play.
Third down and 3 from the 35-yard line. Bill Berge making the stop, the all-NFC performer for 4 straight years. They go back to Standback. He's got
McKinley, number 73, makes a nice block. Standback runs to the outside and picks up the necessary yardage for the first down.
This year, the Philadelphia Eagles were number 3 against the rush. They did not allow a running back to gain 100 yards in a game. So they've been tough to run on, but it's a first down now at the 40-yard line. Markowski on the play action on first down. Pressure put on. Good pressure that time by Carl Hairston. And Hairston drops him back to the 30-yard line.
Watch Hairston now, the right defensive end, number 78. The left defensive tackle, Mike Ken, does not do a good job of blocking Hairston, and as a result, it's a sack and a loss for the Atlanta Falcons.
Second down and 20 from the 30-yard line. Remember now that forward wall of Atlanta had given up 56 sacks coming into this game. Philadelphia, on the other hand, had a low 29 sacks for the year.
If they run in this situation on a long yardage, there they do.
Second and 20, Bubba Bean, and he gets back just about to the line of scrimmage, and that's all in Reggie Wilkes, number 51. An all-NFC rookie as Dick Vermeil looking on. He was concerned about his team being so emotional that they would go out there and play blindly.
You know, a lot of times in this kind of a game, you're a lot better off to start the game on defense than you are on offense, because if you make a mistake down in this area offensively, you give them good field position in a playoff game, boy, you could be in trouble very early.
So it comes to a third down and 19 as Haskell Standback trying to get some of it back, and he's going to get to the 35, and that's all. It'll bring up the kicking situation. Carl Hairston again on the stop for the Philadelphia Eagles, and John James, 8th in the NFC, and punting will come in for Atlanta.
There's a good illustration of how much they want to make sure they don't make mistakes. 3rd and 19. They feel they're not going to get the ball down the field on one big play, so the percentages that they're doing that are very slim. They run a high percentage play like a sweep, and they get as much as they can and kick the ball and let Philadelphia play with it now.
All right, John James, you see the hang time as John Shira goes back inside his 25-yard line, up to the 30, to the 35. Fumble. The ball is loose, and it looks like Louis Giamona has come up with it for the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 33, after a 47-yard kick, the ball got loose, but Giamona, a former New York Jet, pounced on it, and the Eagles have their first opportunity. So there's no score. 11-12 to go, first quarter of play. From the 34-yard line, Eagles with their first offensive opportunity. Philadelphia will come out with Carmichael. Do they have the double tight end, Hank?
Yes, they're starting with a double tight end offense, which means they want to control the weak side for Zena and control the blitz a little bit more and try to get 7-on-7. This is exactly what they're doing starting the game.
Montgomery and Hogan, the running backs behind Jaworski. Jaworski to Montgomery. The number 3 rusher in the NFC's in trouble. He's trying to add lib, and he's not going to do it. It's Rollin Lawrence caught him. Rollin Lawrence, who had 6 interceptions this year to lead Atlanta.
They had a flanker to the left, Carmichael. They try to run a sweep to the right side. They do a good job of containing the play. Lawrence comes up, number 22, the left corner, and makes the tackle on Montgomery.
And there he is, Rollin Lawrence, and we have a penalty against Philadelphia. It's holding. They're going to refuse it because of the long loss. The loss occurring all the way back inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. So it's going to come to second down and a long ways to go. 22 yards to go.
Now they open up the formation on a passing situation where they have a flanker and a split end. Their normal basic offensive look.
And so Jaworski on the second and 22. Carmichael. Did he get it? What a catch by Carmichael, who had 55 catches during the 78 season.
Here's Carmichael. Jaworski throwing outside. Carmichael makes a low catch with his hands, a beautiful catch. Falls out of bounds, and he picks up a little yardage on the play.
You know, Hank, it's tough for guys 6'8" to go down like that, but he showed he could do it.
Yes, he did, and he did a good job of lunging for the ball and catching it in his hand.
Third down and 17 for Philadelphia. Jaworski now trying to overcome that problem on the first play where Montgomery had lipped and got into trouble.
They got a blitz coming.
Jaworski's in trouble. Come coming through, 59, Pennywell. Robert Pennywell, who had 6.5 sacks. Also 74, Wilson Famuina was in to help.
Pennywell, here you see the blitz. Kuykendall is coming. Pennywell is coming. Pennywell makes the kill, so to speak. And this is something that you really have to worry about when you play Atlanta, because they keep you off balance. They conceal the blitz. And one thing that's very important, Gary, is that you have to consistently change the count so that they don't establish the rhythm of the offensive system and get a good jump on the ball on the blitz.
Mike Michel is kicking. The man deep is Billy Rickman. Rickman at the 49. And Rickman's going nowhere because excellent reaction by Ray Phillips, number 52. A 34-yard kick that time. And Phillips, who they picked up from the Cincinnati Bengals, got down there in a hurry. So the Atlanta Falcons have the football for the second time. We have 9:48 to go. We'll be back in a moment. Lehman Bennett talking things over at this Atlanta Falcon team, and already Hank the blitz has paid off, and Dick Vermeil's got to be concerned about it. From the midfield stripe, the Atlanta Falcons have the football. Second time they've had it here in the first quarter. Bartkowski on first down. Rickman. And he makes the catch at the 45-yard line.
They faked inside with a play-action pass. Not a very good fake. They throw outside to Rickman, Billy Rickman, who makes a leaping catch. And Herman Edwards does a good job of making a defensive play. And there you see Billy Rickman, who just made that catch on a play-action pass on 1st and 10.
He had 45 catches, as did Wallace Francis in the regular season, 2nd and 5.
Let's see if they run right. They did a good job from this formation in the early sequence. Here they go.
Stand back has the first down. And Coach, why did you think you're going right?
Well, they had a slot formation to the right that time, which means that Wally Francis and Billy Rickman were both on the right side of the ball. They were in the I formation. And then Phil McKinley and Philman, number 68 and 73, both of whom do a good job. Now you see the ball carrier going through the hole, stand back, cuts to the inside, and is finally tackled by LeMaster, number 55.
So it's the first down at the 37. I give to Bubba Bean, and Bean is going to make it inside the 35-yard line. Right, LeMaster coming up to make the stop for Philadelphia.
They continue to run to the right. Evidently, their plan must be to the right. There you see Phil McKinley, Jim Mitchell, and Philman again. There you see Bubba Bean slashing his way through the hole, and is finally tackled there again by Frank LeMaster, number 55.
Second down and 6 for Atlanta. They are running the ball very well against a team that's been tough to run against. Bartkowski to stand back on the 2nd and 6, and this time Philadelphia reacts very well.
You know, that time they ran from a far formation, meaning that the halfback was lined up behind his left tackle, had a long way to run to the right side. By the time he got there, the defense reacted and pursued and gang tackled and did a good job of stopping stand back on the play.
Johnson and Berge on the stop. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Atlanta Falcons and the National Football League is prohibited. Third down and 6. Bartkowski in a little bit of trouble. Intended for the big tight end, Jim Mitchell. Good coverage that time by Ray Phillips, number 52.
That time they double cover the outside receiver, which means the safety and the halfback double cover the flankers, which means there's 4 on 2. He tried to get the ball to the tight end, but Bill Berge, number 66, really did a super job of knocking the ball down, and now they're forced to kick on a 4th down situation.
The kick will be John James. He set an NFL record this year with 109 punts. Good pressure put on. He's kicking away. This is his specialty, and he's done it again. There is a flag, however, on the play. There is a flag. Let's see what it's all about. That's the Poocher punt. This year, James had 24 kicks that landed inside the 20-yard line and an eligible man downfield. So you know they'll take that penalty, the 5-yarder, and make him kick again. But isn't that James phenomenal?
Yeah, he's incredible. The nice thing about it is he got the ball up in the air very high, and it comes down at the right angle. And a especially on a wet, muddy field like this one. When it hits, it sounds like it hits in a big jar of peanut butter. It sticks right there.
Offense, number 25, illegally downfield. 4th down.
He's saying 25 illegally downfield for Atlanta, and that would be Ray Strong. Here's John Shira, so he'll hopefully get a chance to run this one back.
Let's see if he tries to kick the ball to the left. He really should try to kick it to the left, because if he kicks a bad kick, it will slide off the right side of his foot and go right down the middle. If he kicks to the right and it goes off his foot, it becomes a very bad kick. Let's see what he does.
See how that ball comes down. He's going to get too much on this one, though, and it's going to make it in to the end zone for the touchback. That's a 38-yard kick that time by John James. And so the penalty really helps out the Philadelphia Eagles, who figured to have the ball at the 5-yard line. Instead, they now have it at the 20.
I'm surprised they wouldn't try to kick the ball out of bounds rather than give it to him on the 20.
Marion Campbell, the Swamp Fox, who got the game ball in the preseason when Philadelphia defeated the Atlanta Falcons 24-7.
They line up on a tight end offense again, double tight, and they try it again just like they did in the very first series of the game.
Jaworski with Hogan and Montgomery behind him. Here comes Montgomery. Montgomery has 6, possibly 7, 8 yards. In that first series, the Eagles came away with a minus 14 yards in offense, and it was because Montgomery tried to bend one back and really got into difficulty.
Well, the first time they had possession, they had Carmichael set to the left with a double tight end offense. Here you see running to the right side. They have good blocking at the point of attack. And Wade Key, number 72, does a good job of going through the hole. Here's the Eagles again on a second down situation.
2nd and 1 to be exact at the 29-yard line. Montgomery was 6 100-yard days. This is Mike Hogan, the big fullback, and I don't believe he got the first down. Hogan had his best year, 607 yards rushing after leading the Eagles the 2 previous years in rushing. Jim Bailey stuffed that play very effectively, and we come to a 3rd down and still a yard to go.
The first time they had the ball, they tried to run outside and didn't succeed in doing that. The next time on 1st and 10, they ran off tackle with everybody caving in and blocking the end out and made a nice gain on the play. We'd like to see more of that, and they seemingly want to run to their right more than their left.
It's the short yard. Excuse me, Hank. It's the short yard on a 3rd down. He goes to his fullback again, and Hogan's got it. Mike Hogan stopped by Tom Pridemore, and the Eagles now with a first down just short of their own 35-yard line.
All right, we got to go now.
Nothing fancy, which is what you have to do. You got to get it up the field as fast as you can. Hogan slashed over the left guard that time. Wade Key, Stan Walters, both of whom did a good job, and he made the necessary yardage for the first down.
You mentioned Wade Key. He's playing with a bad hamstring, but he is playing, and he wouldn't have missed this for anything. First down, just short of the 35. Jaworski on the first down. He's got his tight end, Osborne, and Osborne out of bounds on the near side.
That time they send the flanker up the field, Carmichael, and they throw the ball on the outside to 86, as you see. Osborne, he is wide open. The safety man is playing very soft. Their strong safety, Frank Reed, and as a result, he makes a nice gain on the play. Makes a 2nd and 2.
Osborne having to start when Keith Kreplik went on the injured reserve list. He started 6 games and played very well. It's a first down at the 43. Montgomery. Some of that rain that fell last night having something to do with that play as Pennywell coming up there. Robert Pennywell, and there is the Philadelphia Liberty Bells, and you're going to see them on the NFL Cheerleaders Classic that debuts on January 6th on the CBS Sports Spectacular. All the teams that made the playoffs, including the Liberty Bells, will have their cheerleaders represented. 3rd and 5.
You know, the defensive backs of the Atlanta team play very deep, very soft, and they should be able to throw in front of them when they want to, especially on early downs.
Carmichael and Smith, the wide receivers. Jaworski's got time. Smith. And Smith has the first down, and you called that one all the way.
That time Smith went right down the field like he was going to run a deep pattern, stopped in front of the left cornerback, Lawrence. The ball was thrown right on target, right at the money. You see all the room he has to catch the ball, and it's a 1st and 10 situation for the Philadelphia Eagles. But they ought to be able to do that extremely well, especially on a wet track, because the defensive backs are very concerned about deep outside coverage. You should be able to throw in front of them any time you want to.
15-yard pickup on the play. Smith sets it up just about the 45-yard line. Jaworski to Montgomery, and Montgomery cannot go off that right side. Jeff Nero, who's playing, by the way, with a dislocated toe. It's not his big toe, it's his toe next to it. He has the sponge on there, and they have his foot built so he can run flat-footed and not put any pressure on that toe.
You know, seemingly in the early stage of this game, from a running viewpoint, the Eagles have been able to run much better to their right than they have to their left.
Tim Mazzetti, boy, what a job he's done. He has won 5 games this year with that talented toe. Playing against his former teammates. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. This is Montgomery. Pennywell hit him. Boy, that Pennywell is all over the football field.
Yeah, he's a very active player, but even at that, Montgomery should have made the catch. The ball was on target. He just dropped the football. He had Pennywell beaten, but he just dropped the football. It should have been caught.
Hank, you know, it's remarkable. Of the 47 sacks this year by Atlanta, 27.5 of them were made by the linebackers.
Well, they blitz so much. You know, they blitz right coming right off out of the dressing room, and so it's easy to understand why they have so many blitzes.
3rd down, still 10 yards to go. Jaworski taking a lot of time. Got protection. He's going deep to Smith. Smith had a crack at it. Defending on the play was Tom Pridemore. That's a tough catch to make, Henry, because you're trying to look over and locate the football.
Well, the ball wasn't thrown deep enough. That was the problem. It was just a little bit short. Lawrence was with him in good shape, but the ball was thrown just a little bit behind and to the outside. Had it been thrown out in front, he might have had a chance to succeed in making the catch.
Here's Mike Michel. He'll be kicking for the 2nd time.
Now let's see where he kicked. If he tries to kick to the left or to the right. A high snap.
Billy Rickman is back. Rickman got to catch it at the 11. And he is really snowed under. White-shirted Eagles, the ball is loose. Let's see what's happened here. It's Philadelphia's football. The ball was fumbled, and the Eagles come up with a major break in this game.
Here you see him. He tries to get away from the one tackler, and he gets hit. And the ball pops loose, and is finally recovered. It looks like
Eric Johnson, I believe.
Eric Johnson, I think that's right.
Eric Johnson, a backup safety, and what a break in this game. A 34-yard kick, and you can see Marion Campbell looking on. He's got to be happy about it, as Philadelphia now has the football at the 13-yard line, and Atlanta wants a timeout, I believe. Atlanta got the timeout just as the Eagles came to the line of scrimmage. They were mixed up in that forward wall. They didn't have somebody in there. Now Ron Jaworski will have an opportunity to go over and visit with Coach Dick Vermeil, who calls all the plays for Philadelphia. He feels very strong about why he should be.
Well, the nice thing about calling plays from the sideline, it's interesting to note, Gary, that 21 of the 28 teams in the National Football League call the plays from the sideline because everybody has a good understanding of what's going to happen when they call the play.
On Monday, Billy Rickman, the guy who had the ball jarred loose on that punt, and out the 13-yard line, the Eagles with a fumble recovery.
Let's see if they run right. They've succeeded in running right much better than they did to the left. Let's see what they do on 1st and 10.
On the 13, it's a play action by Jaworski. The big tight end, Larson. Pridemore just at the last second stepped in as Bill Larson had a chance for 6 points.
Pridemore is a nice fake from the I formation. Pridemore really makes a fine play. Excellent play on Larson. and the ball falls incomplete. And now, of course, they have a 2nd and 10 situation on about the 13-yard line.
There's Eric Johnson. You know, that guy played in the movies. He was in the movie Semi-Tough. And he came up with a very big break in this football game for Philadelphia. 2nd down now from the 13-yard line. Montgomery. Oh, is he hit? Wilson Famuina, number 74, just leveled him. The first-round draft pick of the year ago.
Here you see Montgomery running to his right with Woody People, 69, pulling on the play. So watch Famuina, 74, come from the inside and make a beautiful play on Montgomery. And now is third down on the 13-yard line going in.
3rd down and still 10 yards to go. They haven't budged that football in 2 plays. Trying to draw him up. There it is, Carmichael, touchdown. That's what they needed to do. They talked about going to Carmichael on the blitz.
But that was a safety blitz. They had a long count. They had a good chance. There you see Pridemore coming in, and you see Carmichael breaking into the area where Pridemore left. He makes the catch, and Lawrence was covering on the play, but he was definitely outmanned physically, and touchdown for the Philadelphia Eagles. Exactly what they're looking for. A safety blitz. They read it on the move nicely, threw the ball inside to Carmichael, and he was ready to take it in for the touchdown. Philadelphia ahead at this stage, 6-0.
John Shire at a hole for Mike Michelle. Michelle's had some trouble in kicking at points after, and I believe he's missed another one. He had missed one in each of the 3 previous games, and Michelle has missed again. The kicking situation for Philadelphia this year has been an adventure at best. And so Michelle, this wasn't even close as it went to the right.
Everything about it was perfect except the kick. The snap was good. The hole was good. He just kicked it off to the right. He's really put a lot of excitement in the kicking game, hasn't he?
And so now they're gathered around him, trying to encourage him.
Here's the touchdown again with the safety blitz. Pridemore coming. Jaworski read it perfectly, and so did Carmichael. Makes the catch inside. He broke off the pattern as he saw the safety man coming. Pridemore made the catch. Lawrence missed the tackle. Very simple. Went in for the touchdown, and Philadelphia leads 6-0.
Carmichael, who in the preseason, or I should say the regular season, caught 55 passes, coming up with that touchdown grab. There he is. He has at least 1 catch in 96 straight games. Today will not count. So he'll pick up that string when they start the 1979 season. And that was the guy Vermeil said they're going to have to look out for in the blitz. And sure enough, he went to Carmichael. Michelle to kick off 6-0 Philadelphia. Pearson is the deep man. Dennis Pearson had a 100-yard return last week against St. Louis, and he's up to the 31-yard line. So at the 31, that's where they'll set it up. A new look in the CBS Sports Spectacular in 1979. We'll have boxing coming your way. Roberto Duran will be squaring off against Monroe Brooks, and the East-West Shrine Game. That's always a classic each year. And then the Hollywood Stunt Competition and the NFL Cheerleaders Classic. Jane Kennedy and I had an opportunity to see that and get it together this week. Very interesting show. Starting to rain again now here in Atlanta. Haskell stand back to the 35, fighting for 7-8 yards. LeMaster making the stop for Philadelphia.
Standback has a great capacity to read the blocks. He runs under control. There's a good takeoff at the line of scrimmage. But you see he starts to the right, sees the cavity inside, takes advantage of it, and runs behind the blocking of Philbin and McKinley again on the right side. Finally tackled by Frank LeMaster's 55.
2nd down and 3. Standback now has 30 yards on 6 carries. Here he goes again. This time he's missed. Just about the time he turned up the field by Dennis Harrison, number 68, a rookie out of Vanderbilt. They call him Big Foot because he has a 14 Triple E shoe. And so we're going to come to still around, now what, a half yard to go. Did they get it? They may have gotten it. Let's see. We're going to measure to see if, in fact, Standback was able to make that first down. Boy, he is just short. So here Here's an interesting play coming up, Coach. Third down. Very short yardage to go.
So they'll go with their double tight end offense, of course. And Gilbert's in the game along with James Wright and also Mitchell, 3 tight ends. Mitchell, the idea of getting the sledgehammer approach ready for this short yardage situation.
They tell me, Coach, that Jim Mitchell's as fine a blocking tight end as you'll ever see. Third down, less than a yard to go. Bubba Bean, boy, I'll tell you, it was tough. Bubba Bean was hit in midair as he tried to hurdle. And let's just see where they mark his forward progress. Dennis Harrison, Frank LeMaster in on the stop. They got it, first down.
Well, they made good contact on defense. The offensive line really didn't dominate the line of scrimmage that time, and he was very fortunate to make the necessary yardage for the first down.
There's Dick Vermeil, his team with a 6-0 lead. Carl Peterson standing alongside him. And that is the end of the first quarter of play. A very fast first quarter here at Atlanta Stadium. So the Philadelphia Eagles on a 13-yard touchdown strike from Jaworski to Carmichael lead it 6-0. 6-0 as Harold Carmichael, you look at him as he takes it in for the 6 points. The difference in this football game, you can see it's raining again in Atlanta, coming down pretty hard right now. First down now for the Atlanta Falcons from their own 41-yard line as we start the second quarter. Bartkowski got his man, and that's Wallace Francis, who had 45 catches in the regular season.
All he did was run right down the field, Gary, get the defensive back to move backwards and threw the ball right in front. A beautiful catch. Howard was the defensive back, played him very loosely, and as a result, a big play for the offense. And Wally Francis on a sideline pattern and was close to the first down.
Francis this year pressed into the starting role when Alfred Jenkins went down in the first game with an injury. 45 catches, sixth-year man from Arkansas A&M. And let's see if they got the first down. It had come clear across, and evidently they did not because they're replacing the football, resetting it. Francis and Rickman just came out of nowhere this year to do an outstanding job in the wide receiving corps.
You know, one thing about this Atlanta team is they're very unusual in that they play much better offensively when they're behind than they do when they're even. They're very conservative when the game is even, but once they get behind, they do a good job of throwing the ball and spraying it around and moving it down the field and getting first downs. And let's see if they continue to throw the ball. They're going to have to throw it a lot more if they expect to win this football game.
Second down and inches to go. Atlanta's been tough at home this year. They're 7-1, losing only to Cleveland. Bartkowski. Rickman. Intercepted by Herman Edwards. Edwards, he going to bring it out? He sure is. Edwards coming out to the 15, and he gets back to the 18-yard line. Looks like some indecision on his part. But Edwards, who led the Eagles in interceptions, was 7. Picked off that pass intended for Billy Rickman.
He was impatient. One thing that you have to do if you're going to throw the ball, you have to be a little bit more patient. The people up front, underneath, are open, except you try to go on top. It's all right to throw on top if you throw from a play-action pass, Gary. But just to go back in the pocket and throw downfield, it's tough to do the way they play because they're very deep.
The Atlanta Falconettes, the Atlanta Falcon cheerleaders, you can see how wet. Temperature at kickoff time was 42 degrees, and they are ready to persevere here this afternoon. So after the interception by Edwards, Jaworski, who's 4 for 7 in the passing department, has a first down. Operating from the 19-yard line. Wilbert Montgomery. Boy, he is wrapped up by Pennywell again. Robert Pennywell, also Bolton Kuykendall, who is a second-team All-NFC pick.
That time they used a wing formation, which means that you have a flanker just outside of the tight end with the idea of getting good blocking angles on the defensive linebacker. But here again, they haven't really succeeded in doing a good job of moving the ball from the left side of the ball all the way across the field. It takes an awful long time to get there for the play to develop, and by that time, the Atlanta team reacted very well, and Pennywell specifically made the tackle.
They lose a yard on the play, brings up the second down. Smith, Carmichael, the wide receivers. Jaworski again taking a lot of time at the line of scrimmage. Far side, Smith. Charles Smith makes the catch. That's very close to the first down. Rollin Lawrence defending on the play. And Smith, who was hurt a lot this year, came back to start the last 3 games after having all kinds of leg problems.
I can't emphasize too strongly the fact that they can do that whenever they want to, especially on the early downs, because the defensive backs of Atlanta, even though they blitz a great deal, they play their defensive backs very soft. By that I mean very deep. And as a result, you can throw in front of them. They give you the short stuff, but they're not going to give you the home run ball. And this is what they should be able to do.
Still third down and 3. They have 2 tight ends, Osborne and Larson in. Mike Hogan. And Hogan's not going to get the first down. The red-shirted Atlanta defense. What a job they've done. They were 4th overall in the NFC, 5th against the rush, allowing only 129 yards a game. Hogan, that's who he is right there, just didn't have a chance. And so Mike Michelle will go back. This will be his 3rd punt of the game. Back deep, Billy Rickman. Michelle, a wobbly kick. Rickman with a fair catch, and he's got it at his own 46-yard line. So Atlanta will come away with good field position. That was only a 27-yard kick by Michelle. And Atlanta, trailing 6-0, has excellent field position at the 13:09 mark of the second quarter. 30 minutes and 9 seconds left before halftime. With Hank Stram, I'm Gary Bender, and from the 46, the Falcons with the football.
Yeah, I think the Falcons have to throw the ball, especially more on first down, and be patient and throw it in front of their defensive backs because they've got a lot of room, and I think they can do that very well.
Bartkowski 2 of 4, 14 yards and an interception. Gives to Bubba Bean, and not much going on that play. They're not going to give up. It's tough in the trenches, and the nose tackle will show you how tough it is.
One thing that's very important, the center, get that note, 57, has to block Charlie Johnson, 65, and if he can't make that block, they're really in trouble offensively, and that's the important thing about the Oklahoma or 3-man front.
Second down and 9, a gain of 1 on that last play. Bartkowski with the play action. Intended on the near side for Rickman, and Bobby Howard over there.
Also, it's very obvious that on passing situations, they bring in Ken Clark, number 71, and they evidently feel that he's a much better pass rusher than Charlie Johnson. They like Charlie Johnson against the run, and they like Ken Clark, 71, when they anticipate pass.
So it's going to come to a 3rd down and 9 for Atlanta. Rickman to the bottom of the screen. Top of the screen goes Francis. Atlanta thus far is 2 for 4 on 3rd down conversions. Flag on the play, and Bartkowski goes down. So Bartkowski losing all the way back to the 41-yard line.
Well, that was a design play. He went back in the pocket, trying to create the impression that he was going to throw from the pocket. Then he ran to the outside, hoping that the defensive right end of the Eagles, Hairston, would come inside, which he did. Then he rolled to the outside with the express purpose of trying to throw the ball to Francis, but he couldn't get the ball to him because he was covered very well there by Logan. Francis right there coming back for the ball. Logan covering him very nicely on the play. Couldn't get the ball to him, and of course they lose yardage on the play.
There's Wallace Francis out of Arkansas A&M. So the penalty goes against Philadelphia. It's going to be a personal foul.
Head slap. First down.
Look at at that. The Falcons have committed a lot of penalties, but this one's against Philadelphia. It was for a head slam.
We haven't seen many of those called all year long. I think in all the games that I have seen, that's only the third time I can remember it being called.
So from the 42-yard line, Atlanta with 15 yards packed onto their advance. Send Alfred Jackson in for the first time. He split to the top of the screen along with Billy Rickman.
They've got a lot of room on the left side.
Bartkowski on the first down. Nice protection to Bubba Bean. Bean to the 35. Another flag on the play as he's to the 33. Ray Phillips coming up to make the stop. And this penalty is going to go against Atlanta. And see now Atlanta's penalty situation for 1978. Should say Philadelphia. So they explained the situation to Bill Berge. Both these teams now having the problems. A lot of difference, isn't there, in the penalty yardage?
But they're a very aggressive, swarming kind of a team. They try to anticipate a lot of plays with their blitzes, and anytime that you do that, you're going to guess wrong a lot of the time. Let's see what he calls.
We believe it's Phil McKinley, number 73, who was guilty of holding. He's playing in place of the injured Warren Bryant. Look at that. I've heard of keeping your hands warm, but your feet, Tim Mazzetti or John James? John James trying to keep the foot warm.
Rolling out this time to the right side.
On a 1st and 20, Wallace Francis to the 30-yard line, and Francis to the 25, first down. So after having 20 yards to go for the first down, they get it back in a hurry.
He rolled out to the right this time, and Francis goes down in front of Howard again, breaks to the outside. There you see him. Berge tries to make a play from his inside linebacker position, but Howard finally makes a partial stop on Francis, but not until after he makes the first down.
That ball set up at the 25-yard line. Three-yard pass completion, and here comes Bean. Check that. Haskell stand back. Stand back to the 22.5-yard line. As Bartkowski is the kind of quarterback, if you give him time to throw the football, he can hurt you. Lehman Bennett had a very tough preseason with Bartkowski, and in particular against Philadelphia, he was booed out of this ballpark. He benched him. He put June Jones the third in, and then he gave him the job back, and he's done it. There's Marion Campbell. Second down, 7 from the 22.
They've got a lot of room on the outside with the flankers, both split in and flanker. They ought to be able to do some business on the outside if they throw the ball. No, they elect to run.
Bubba Bean fumbles the ball. Bean fumbles, and Philadelphia has it at the 15-yard line. Let's go back and see what happened on this. Sanders fell on it.
Straight ahead play. You see some running room. And he fumbles the ball. Lemasters got a piece of it, jarred it loose, and it's recovered by the Eagles. They have possession. 1st and 10. John Sanders made the recovery, number 26.
And so another turnover. The third of the game by Atlanta. The Eagles with a 6-0 lead. So another turnover in this game. We've had the fumble by Rickman, the interception, and now another fumble recovery, and Philadelphia has the football at the 15-yard line. 6-0 Eagles in the lead on a 13-yard strike from Jaworski to Carmichael. Montgomery is going to get a couple of yards. Out to the 17. Jim Bailey, Greg Brazina reacting on the stop for the Atlanta Falcons. Montgomery this year with a 6 100-yard days. His best was 144 yards. He was the guy that had 3 straight 100-yard days. And Dick Vermeil told us yesterday he suspected in the offseason that he could be another Terry Metcalf. And boy, what a job he has done. Second down, 7. Hogan. And Hogan is out across the 20 to the 22, 23-yard line. Jeff Miro over to make the stop.
Pennywell had a good shot, but was cut off right about the time he was trying to make the play. Pennywell, the linebacker. I should say the middle linebacker, number 59.
Pennywell, a former San Francisco 49er, came over. He quit the Atlanta Falcons, came back, got a new lease on life, and they haven't been able to get him out of that starting middle linebacking spot. When Ralph Ortega was hurt, he just took the job, and he says it's mine. Third down, a yard to go. This is Hogan again. He's got the first down, and Hogan to the 30-yard line. Brazina up to make the stop, and so Philadelphia, moving from their 15, now have a first down at the 30.
It's a quick pitch to the fullback. Hogan cuts back against the grain, sees running room, hits the cavity in good shape, and it's finally tackled there by Pridemore, number 27, the safety man. First and 10, Philadelphia.
So the Eagles get a little operating room. Carmichael comes to the bottom of the screen. They have the two tight ends in once again. Up the middle, Hogan. Yeah. Oh, you can see how he drew a crowd that time.
Yes, he did. A lot of folks there to meet him on that straight-ahead play.
Mike Lewis, one of those, and Lewis is having some problems, number 69 with an ankle, but he's in the lineup. Also, an assist from Fulton Kuykendall. There's Lewis coming off. McLean, 52. Famuina, 74, checking in. What are we doing now? Trying to keep the feet still warm, I guess. John James. And the hands.
I think he's got some Gatorade in there once he gets some more power.
It's not even cold here. What was he playing up north? He'd be in real trouble. Second down, 9. Now we have a little gadget play. Here is Montgomery. To the 35, the 40, he's got a first down. And Hank, why did that play work so well?
Well, they wanted to get the defense to pursue, and they pursue very quickly. He started off to his right like he was going right. Watched the defense all pursue. They overran the play. Nobody had leverage on the outside. Nobody had containment. He broke back to the left side of the field and did a good job of running. Tom Pridemore, number 27, finally made the tackle. But it was a nicely designed, well-conceived play. And beautifully run by Montgomery.
11-yard pickup on the play. To the 2. Carmichael lines up on the wrong side. Osborne and Larson again are both in there tight end. Jaworski looking for his big guy. Carmichael makes his cut, but he is defended very effectively that time by Roland Lawrence.
Lawrence did a good job of covering that time. He came up, anticipated the outside move. But if he continues to do that, we can watch for Carmichael to make the outside move and then break up the sideline for possibly a big play, because they can't afford to play him too tight, because he can go right by him.
So Ron Jaworski has the second down and 10 coming up. And again, the Falcons make some changes defensively. They get Lewis out of there along with Bailey, bringing in Dewey McLean, and he is excellent in a blitzing situation. The 42-yard line on a second. Tim Brazina. And that is something that they've seen a lot this year. Greg Brazina had 10 sacks this year as a linebacker.
Wilbur Montgomery that time was supposed to block Brazina. Watch him on the left side, 31. He's supposed to block the blitzing linebacker, but he didn't succeed in doing it, and Brazina is able to hit Jaworski from the blind side.
Greg Brazina was voted the most valuable player by his teammates here in 1978 with the 10 sacks. And he's just getting better. 32 years old, his 11th year in the National Football League out with the University of Houston. 11th round draft pick in 1968. Third down, 17.
They'll probably run the ball here. Let's see what they do.
On a third and 17, they're going to put it up. Jaworski's got Carmichael, and they have Carmichael in a hurry. It'll be short of the first down. Rick Bias, number 38, was there immediately. Bias has been excellent this year for the Atlanta Falcons. And this sellout crowd likes it. As Michelle will come in to kick for the 4th time, and they're trying to keep warm and dry as best as possible. Rickman will go back for the kick from number 2. Michelle became the punter in the 7th game for the Philadelphia Eagles, replacing Rick Ingalls. He's kicking away. Rickman has it at the 25, 30, and Rickman's going to bring it out across the 35-yard line. So the Atlanta Falcons, trailing 6-0, will set it up there. You know, we've heard a lot about the special teams of Atlanta, but thus far, Hank, Philadelphia's really covered well on the punch.
Yes, they have, and of course, both teams have done an excellent job. You don't get to the playoffs unless you do a good job with your specialty teams, your defense, and your offense, and you sincerely feel that if you can win 2 of the 3 battles in any game, either with the specialty team, your offense, or defense, or whatever it might be, normally you'll win the game.
That was only a 29-yard kick. The Eagles lead it 6-0. From the 35-yard line, it looks like the rain has subsided. It picked up there for a while, and now it's backed off. Atlanta with the football. They trail 6-0 from their own 35. Both receivers split to the bottom of the screen. Bubba Bean with the football. He got a yard.
Really, Atlanta has done better running from the I formation than they have from conventional looks. And when I talk about conventional formations, I talk about formations where the fullback is behind the quarterback and the halfback is set to the side or the backfield is split. But seemingly, they've done a much better job of running from the I formation. And let's see how they progress and what they do from here on in as far as utilizing the I formation is concerned.
Well, Master and Harrison making the tackle on that last play. They give him 2 yards, 2nd and 8. Arkowski, good protection. Off to Bubba Bean, Bean to the 40, to the 45, and that's very close to the first down. Randy Logan, the strong safety, up to make the stop for Philadelphia. And let's see where they're going to mark it. It looks like they got the first down, and they did.
The defensive backs of Philadelphia are very deep conscious. The linebackers got good drops. They dunk the ball off to the outside to Bubba Bean, and that's what you like. You want to get a one-on-one situation with a halfback like Bean here, 44, on a linebacker. It's very difficult to tackle him in the open field, and that's why they succeeded in making a good game.
Leading rusher for the Falcons, 707 yards in that 16-game schedule. And now Bartkowski on a first down, broken up beautifully that time by Randy Logan, the safety.
Safety blitz that time, and the timing of the blitz was perfect. And he blitzed in exactly the right area for the play they had designed because they anticipated throwing to the outside that time to Jackson. But Logan did a great job of timing the throw and knocked the ball down. It falls incomplete.
Ken Clark comes back into nose tackle. Charlie Johnson goes out. 2nd down and 10. Bubba Bean. No, Standback, correction, and Standback across the 50 to the 48-yard line. All of a sudden, that play popped open.
That was a play from the I formation, somewhat of a counter play. LeMasters and Howard made the tackle, but one thing that you have to do against Philadelphia, you have to, number one, make sure on all running plays that you block Bill Berge. And secondly, in conjunction with that same theme, you have to run some counters to get him going one way and running the other.
You know, Bill Berge told us yesterday he's had his best year in the National Football League. I didn't know he had any bad ones. He hasn't. 4 straight years, all NFC. On a 3rd down, Standback, very close to the 45-yard line. He's got to get inside that 45 to get the first down. On a 3rd and 3, I don't know if he made it. Don't believe he did. That was Carl Hairston and Frank LeMaster who combined on the tackle. They're going to bring the sticks in. The 3rd measurement we've already had in this game. You can see the field now starting to be a little bit torn up in the center, but it has quit raining as of right now, I believe. Well, wait a minute. Maybe it started up again.
You know, I think the other thing that has to be done here with a field like it is, let's see what they do.
Well, he may have gotten it by the nose, did he? He did.
But, you know, what they feel like it is and the possibility of more damaging rain as the game progresses is you would think if they have good field position, they have to throw the ball a little bit more to take advantage of the footing and the fact that they can throw the ball better in this situation. And if it rains hard and later, they'll have a hard time getting it done.
Philadelphia this year was last in the NFC in pass defense. They had 28 interceptions, however. Here's Haskell Standback bending it against the grain. He's to the 40-yard line. And Bill Berge, number 66. Berge's one of those guys who loves to practice. Not only play the games, he likes to practice. And that time he hit Standback.
You know, the nice thing about running from the I formation, I alluded to that just a minute ago, but another play from the I formation was just run. If the back can hit right squarely with the line of scrimmage and then cut any way he wants to, and that's the advantage of the I formation.
2nd down and 6 from the 40. Rickman and now Alfred Jackson are the wide receivers. Markowski, play action. He's got Jackson. The rookie out of Texas has been a big play performer. Bobby Howard over to defend on the play. And Bobby Howard is quite a story. They picked him up from the New England Patriots after he had been in retirement. And Howard came in, had 3 interceptions, started the last 6 games for the Eagles, and played like, well, just what they expected him to play like, an outstanding veteran.
The reason that play was not successful was the fact that Randy Logan, the strong safety, was up on the line of scrimmage again, and Bartkowski had to throw the ball over the top of him, and that's why they didn't succeed in making the connection for the first down.
So we come to the 3rd down with 6 to go.
We got a blitz that time with Berkey.
Ken Clark coming through. He just got rid of it. Standback had it for a moment, but Ken Clark, the nose tackle, came pouring through, and Markowski's shaking a little bit. He's on one knee, getting up very slowly. He took a shot on this play.
Berkey was blitzing on the play. They picked him up in good shape, however. And you see Ken Clark getting through there and getting a shot at Bartkowski, but he delivered the ball nicely to a standback, but he dropped the football. Here's Bill Berkey, the great middle linebacker, inside linebacker on their 3-4 in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Boy, it is really starting to rain now. Here is John James going for one of those booster kicks of his. And he's going to like this one. It's going to be just inside the 10-yard line. And the rain now is falling harder than it has all day long. It is pouring here in Atlanta. 30-yard kick that time by James. And Philadelphia 76ers against the Knicks. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, the doctor, Julius Erving, averages 24 points per game, and Todd McAdoo is back and playing once again.
Philadelphia is still featuring their double tight end offense. They've used it most of the game, especially on early down.
So a fine kick by James, backed up deep. They're trying to come out with it. Mike Hogan straight ahead. Earlier, you remember, Philadelphia's on the 15-yard line, and they got out of there. Moved it out, and once again, they're put into that position. As this time, the ball will be advanced to the 13-yard line. Boy, it is pouring. Look at it around here, would you? All the umbrellas have been opened.
That's the one thing you don't want to do now with the weather like it is, or any time, of course, for that matter, is you don't want to reduce the size of the field for the opposition and make a fumble or an intercepted pass, some kind of a mistake that'll give them good field position. That's how, of course, Philadelphia got their first touchdown.
The 2-minute warning is here. We'll be back in a moment. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles again with poor field position from the 13-yard line, 2nd and 6. Been tough to run. Montgomery has 8 carries, only 7 yards. Hogan, 24 yards and 7 carries. Tough sledding running against this Atlanta football team. Jaworski again taking a lot of time, gives up the middle. Hogan, and Hogan across the 15 to the 16-yard line. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down, and wait a minute, looks like Atlanta wants to use the timeout and will.
That's a good move on the part of Atlanta, because they want to have an opportunity with good field position possibly to get the ball back in play offensively and possibly get 3 points or 6 points or 7 points on the board before this half is terminated.
There they are, an excited group in Atlanta. This place has been in a frenzy the entire game. A sellout for the 7th time. Ron Jaworski now trying to keep the hands dry. 1:53 remaining before half. At half, Brent, Jane, and Irv will update us on some of the color and the highlights of what's happening here in this 1978 Wild Card playoff game. Philadelphia coming now to this 3rd down is 4 of 8 thus far. They'd like to convert here, keep the football for the remaining part of this first half. Thus far, Hank, it's been the turnovers by Atlanta, the interceptions, the fumbles. Philadelphia able to capitalize on one of those for 6 points.
Yeah, the big play so far in the game was a fumble by Billy Rickman on the 13-yard line that provided Philadelphia with good field position, and on a third down situation against a safety blitz, they threw a touchdown pass to Carmichael, who made the reception, took it in for the score. They missed the extra point, and the score still remains 6 Philadelphia, nothing Atlanta.
If it continues to rain like it is right now, the field conditions are really going to deteriorate in a hurry. You're going to go in the dressing room, I suspect, at half and maybe change your game plan a little?
Well, they won't change it too much. They're going to just concentrate basically on doing what they feel they can do best, eliminate mistakes. And that's always the important thing, not to give up the football with bad field position. 3rd down and 2 from the 17-yard line. That's Carmichael in motion. Now setting up. Jaworski to Hogan, and Hogan's not going to get the first down. So the quick switch, as they call them. The Atlanta defense, led by Fulton Kuykendall and Rollin Lawrence, stack it up. It's 4th down, and the clock, well, 1:43, and it's moving. Falcons hold the best 3rd down defense in the NFL, so that should be no surprise that they held on that one. Pennywell, by the way, already has 5 tackles in this game and 3 assists. Michel the kick. Rickman back deep. Well, they ought to have good field position after this exchange.
The clock with 1:19 remaining, and what we got here? All kinds of mix-ups, flags everywhere. They may have drawn Atlanta offside. Illegal procedure. No, it's against the Eagles, so they're going to be kicking deeper in the end zone.
And Michel really got off a booming kick that time. But to no avail.
Atlanta now really figures to come out of here with the field position. As Michel now, he was standing at the goal line the last time to kick. He'll back up another 5 yards. Line of scrimmage now the 10-yard line.
Offense, number 53, false start.
Dennis Franks, the offensive center, moved his head. Watch him. He moves. There it is. Yeah. There, the center, number 53, Dennis Franks, made a move with his head, and of course that was an offside penalty.
Oh, you could really see it on that replay. Here they come. 10 men after Michel. He just got it underway. Rickman calls for the fair catch, and he's got it. Wait a minute, the 39-yard line. He's hit, and a flag is thrown. Dennis Franks was down there. Vince Papali was in that area. You cannot interfere with that man once he calls for the fair catch.
Well, he's signaled for the fair catch. He must have an opportunity to make it, which he did, but he shouldn't be hit after he makes that catch. Papali, that time 83, was the one who made the contact.
Vince Papali, an excellent special teams performer, a little overeager on that one. Vince Papali, he had 18 tackles a couple of years ago, the special team. And here comes a 15-yard penalty.
Well, they've got excellent field position.
Interference.
Interfering with the man to make the catch. And so at the 25-yard line, Atlanta with 1:07 remaining in this first half. Trailing 6-0. They have a chance to tie it up.
They got 3 receivers in the game at this situation with Francis, Rickman, and Jackson.
Bartkowski to roll out of the pocket this time. He's going to run with it. He gets to the 21-yard line, and that's all. And that's going to take a lot of valuable time. You can see in the upper right-hand portion the time remaining.
Alfred Jackson and Francis on the left side really ran very poor patterns. They were both in the same area, and there was no place to throw the football. As a result, he had to run the football. Bartkowski.
Steve Bartkowski. He calls the timeout. Atlanta uses their second timeout. They have 1 remaining. Bartkowski, a 4th-year man out of the University of California, the first man taken in the 1975 draft. He set club records this year in completions, attempts, yardage. He had 6 200-yard passing days. And he was the guy that was kind of the glue to this team. When they got on that hot streak and won 5 in a row, he had the hot hand.
You know, that time they got outside of the containment in good shape, which is what they wanted to do. They got outside of Hairston, the defensive right end, but because the pattern was, both patterns were run very poorly by Francis and Jackson, they suffocated that area, reduced the size of the area. He had no place to throw the football. And that's one thing about the rollout pass. Once you roll in that direction, you cut the field in half, so to speak, and there's not much else you can do except throw the ball to the left side if you roll left. He was forced to run, and of course, Bartkowski is not known for his running ability.
Bartkowski, a big guy, 6'4", he weighs 213 pounds. He's had a lot of injury problems. He missed 6 games last year, 9 games in 76, so he has not been the type of guy looking to run. Second down and 7 from the 22. Rickman, Francis, now the wide receivers. Mitchell, the tight end. Bartkowski rolling right. He's got his big tight end, Mitchell, the 19-yard line. Jim Mitchell had 32 catches in the regular season.
Mitchell just ran what we call a drag out. He takes off in the line of scrimmage and heads for the flat area. Bartkowski puts the ball right on the numbers. He makes the reception. Jim Mitchell makes the catch, number 86, and runs out of bounds and stops the clock.
Jim Mitchell, a veteran in his 10th year out of Prairie View. He caught a big touchdown pass this year against New Orleans.
And he's typical of so many great tight ends in the league. Philadelphia, timeouts remaining, 3, Atlanta none. But he's typical of so many great tight ends in the league. He's like a loose tackle in that he blocks well, but he still has the capacity to run patterns and get deep.
So just outside the 18-yard line, third down, 3. Bartkowski, Mitchell. He was out of bounds. It will not count. Looked like he juggled that ball, and that's what cost him the reception.
That's exactly what he did. He ran a deep pattern from his tight end position in the flat like he did the last time, then broke it upfield. However, he bobbled the ball as he went out of bounds, and it's incomplete. 4th and 3 for the Atlanta Falcons.
4th down, 3, and Mr. Mazzetti will come in. Tim Mazzetti, 13 of 16 in the field goal kicking department, and this is going to be a 37-yard attempt. John James to hold. Mazzetti's kick is on the way. It's no good. Mazzetti, who this year hit 9 in a row for a club record, missed that one. And so Philadelphia has a 6-0 lead still.
The snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is not good. It went off to the left, and it still remains Philadelphia 6, Atlanta nothing. There you see it.
Just hooked it over.
Yes, that's what happened.
With the NFL today. So from the 20-yard line after the missed field goal attempt, Philadelphia now will just kill the clock with 44 seconds. There it is, down to 40. So the Eagles able to hang on, and the Eagles have been backed up, but they've been able to come away with the turnovers. And, of course, a missed field goal attempt with that 6-0 lead, but they missed that point after, and that kind of leaves the door open, doesn't it?
Yeah, Philadelphia went through the minefield a couple of times and missed all the mines on those 2 opportunities that Atlanta had and came away without any points.
Lehman Bennett, he's looking things over. He's trying to decide what he's going to have to do to get some points on the scoreboard. So we're not even going to have another play run up as this first half is coming to a close in this 1978 Wild Card playoff game. Philadelphia with a 6-0 lead. A 13-yard touchdown pass from Milwaukee off will be the Atlanta Falcons. Tim Mazzetti gets into it. Picked up by Louis Giamone. And Giamone brings it outside to the 30, and he stays on his feet to the 35-yard line. Let's look now at what happened statistically in that first half. Not a lot of offense.
Now, both teams are very conservative, and if you're not careful, you play this kind of a game with a fear of losing rather than the anticipation of winning the game. And it's very understandable because both teams are in the playoffs for the very first time. The way it is, while you have to be very careful and make sure you choose your spots to do something explosive.
We might indicate it is pouring right now. The rain really coming down as we start the second half of play. From the 35-yard line, the Eagles with a 6-0 lead. Jaworski giving off to Montgomery, and Montgomery to the 41-yard line. Tom Clydemore making the stop from his free safety spot.
There we see Montgomery running from the I formation, and I mentioned this earlier. Both teams seem to run much better from the I because they have an opportunity to run away from the pursuit, behind the pursuit. That's exactly what happened on that last play. Montgomery made a nice gain on first down, picking up 7 yards, makes it 2nd and 3.
Montgomery in that first half had 8 carries for only 7 yards. It's tough sledding. So the 2nd and 3 from the 42. Montgomery trying to get the first down. Boy, what penetration that time by that defensive forward wall of Atlanta. Number 79, Jeff Yates, Jim Bailey, Dewey McLean, all of them on that. As you can see, the front four of Atlanta was equal to that one.
See, and there you see another good picture of how difficult it is if you run from conventional formations. There's no way you can run any other place except where you're headed initially. He was headed to the right, couldn't cut back, even though there was a little cavity had he been running from the I formation.
Third down coming up for the Eagles. 3 yards to go. The rain falling heavily here. Jaworski wanting to throw. He's got Montgomery, and he didn't hang on. He had it for a moment. He had people draped on top of him. Montgomery almost came up with quite a catch.
Jaworski just rolled out to his right that time with the anticipation of hitting the tight end or Montgomery in the flat, but the ball was a little bit high and fell incomplete.
That was Kuykendall, Fulton Kuykendall. They call him Captain Crazy. All over Montgomery on that play as Michelle goes back to kick. There's his average. You can see the weather's affected his kicking. He came in here averaging about 36 yards a kick. 31-2 in this game. And now the kick to Billy Rickman. A fair catch called for. And we have a collision. Little mix-up on that play. Going back that time was Mike Esposito. Esposito back there along with Rickman, and that could cause some problems for you.
That ball looked like he was on a trolley line that time. It wasn't very high. Got down there very quickly. Actually, it was up there 2 and 8/10 seconds. Not very long, Gary.
24-yard kick. The NFC Coach of the Year in 77, Lehman Bennett, looking over his play selection. His team has it from their own 34.
Let's see if they run right. They've done a good job of running right for this I formation.
They're going right. Standback with the ball. Standback having a tough time that time with Dennis Harrison.
Watch Reggie Wilkes. He's attacked there, but he spins off the block and makes a good play and makes the tackle. Number 51, Reggie Wilkes, the left linebacker.
He played right here at Georgia Tech. He was excited to get an opportunity to play. There he is. He was their top selection this year in the 3rd round. 2nd down and 7. Artkowski on the 2nd and 7. Lots of time. He hits Bubba Bean. And Bubba Bean is across the 40 to the 41-yard line. He is still 2, possibly 3 yards short of that first down.
Wilkes, that time, number 51, the left linebacker. Watch him. He jams the receiver, the tight end, goes back into his drop area, sees the ball thrown, and comes up nicely along with Bill Berge and makes the tackle.
Bill Berge was telling me, as you look at Bubba Bean, that he tried to settle Wilkes down today. He thought that Reggie might be awfully excited playing before his hometown fans. 3rd and 2. Haskell stand back, and I don't think he's going to get it. Boy, Reggie Wilkes came up on that play.
Reggie Wilkes again, watching number 51, does a good job on the tight end. Mitchell tries to block him, but by the time the ball carrier gets there, Reggie Wilkes makes the play. Left linebacker 51, and here again they're running from a formation that takes an awful lot of time to get to the hitting area. By the time he gets there, he was able to slide off the block and make the play.
We'll keep watching the trench play because the linebackers, that forward wall is going to be big in this game. Here's a kick by James, almost blocked. James almost had it blocked. The kick is not what he wanted, but he was fortunate to get that one away at all. Cleveland Franklin was the guy who came flying through the air and almost blocked that kick.
And had he taken the right angle, he'd have blocked the kick. He's got too much penetration, and as a result, wasn't able to block the kick. It was a low pass also.
6-0, the Eagles with the lead. That was a 17-yard kick that time by James, almost blocked by Cleveland Franklin. Just short of the 40-yard line. The Eagles with the football. Montgomery and Hogan, the running backs. Carmichael and Smith, the wide receivers. On the first down, Jaworski to Smith. And Smith has a first down very quickly to the 45-yard line of Atlanta. Ronald Lawrence defending on the play.
Jaworski that time sets up quickly and throws the ball inside to Charlie Smith, 85, who was inside of the defensive back, Lawrence. Nice play, first down.
There he is, Ron Jaworski, who this year was ranked 5th in the NFC in passing. First down at the 45.
But they have to do a better job and throw more, just like they're doing now, to control the ball and move it down the field and get first down.
See Smith now looking in, listening. They may be changing the play. Jaworski. He's headed for Osborne, the tight end. A flag has been thrown on the play away from the receiver, however.
Charlie Smith was knocked down on the play as the ball was in the air, and I'm sure that's what they're going to call. He ran an inside pattern, and the defensive back made a play on him, hit him, knocked him down, and they called pass interference. I think that's what happened on the play. Let's see what they call.
Smith was actually away from where the play or the ball arrived. Here it comes, and I think that's what you're... I saw Pennywell all upset, the middle linebacker, about this call, as Silva now will step it up.
Smith looked like he was going through a revolving door. 3 guys hit him back there and knocked him down, and it was very obvious that pass interference would be called.
Defense, illegal chuck, 27, refused. Personal foul, roughing the passer, 52, accepted.
First down. 2 penalties on that. That was Dewey McLean that roughed the passer, Jaworski, so they took that penalty and have the ball now first down at the 30.
I didn't even see that. I was looking downfield that time, Gary. I didn't see what happened in the backfield.
So it's going to be a first down on the 30. Roughing the passer penalty, 15 yards. Philadelphia at the 6-0 lead as we have 10:26 to go, third quarter. This is Montgomery. Montgomery just across the 30, and that's all. Colton Kuykendall, number 54. Boy, what a job he has done this year for the Atlanta Falcons. He broke his arm last year in the 5th game, and they knew he was going to be a good one, and he's come on this year to make second-team All-NFC.
Kuykendall that time really made a great play from the inside position. His linebacker spot had good pursuit angle, good technique when he made the tackle. A beautiful play by Kuykendall, number 54, the left linebacker.
Second down now, and about 9 yards to go.
Carmichael's got a lot of room here on the outside.
Jaworski looking the other way, and he tied in Osborne, the tight end. A little mix-up on that play. He had Smith, also Carmichael, breaking down the field. He elected to go to Osborne, and nothing developed on it.
Yeah, that time the deep receiver, Carmichael, had a big cushion on the defensive back, Lawrence, and looked like they'd have an opportunity to get the ball to him, but he looked the other way. And even at that, the tight end was open. He just threw it over the top.
You can hear the chant of defense. It's a third down. Thus far, the Eagles 4 of 9 on third down. 3rd and 9.
Here comes the blitz.
They pick it up.
He's wide open.
Charlie Smith, and what a game he is having. Smith is at the 2-yard line.
He licked Rick Bias, and there's the blitz. Everybody is coming. You see Pennywell coming. Anytime that you have the blitz and you can get the ball off in good shape, you have a one-on-one situation. That time, Charlie Smith on Rick Bias made a good inside-outside move. Protection is excellent. Jaworski throws the ball right on target, and Philadelphia has possession inside the 5. First and goal to go.
27-yard pickup on the play, and Smith having an outstanding day. He had 2 touchdown catches in the last 3 games after coming back from that injury. And right now, Philadelphia talking things over.
You know, the nice thing about that last play, too, is obvious that Jaworski called the play on a long count so he could get a good picture of what was happening. By the time he snapped the ball, they had the ball snapped while the defense expressed what they were going to do. They were able to pick it up in good shape, run the proper pattern, one-on-one, on bias on the right side, and they have a first and goal situation. A beautiful 27-yard pass from Jaworski to the outside receiver, 85, Charlie Smith.
Smith now has 4 catches for 66 yards. I know that ends a lot of frustration for him. He got hurt in the first real preseason game they played. That was in Mexico City, pulled a leg, and that leg muscle never did really come back for him. But here today, 4 catches, 66 yards, and Lehman Bennett now is concerned. And his team is going to have to play some real catch-up if the Eagles take this one in.
And that's the thing that you have to worry about when you blitz a lot. It's feast or famine. You guess wrong or you guess right. If you pick up the blitzes, you're really in trouble. If you get there before they get the ball off, you're in good shape. That time, the Philadelphia team picked it up in excellent shape and wound up with a big gain of 27 yards.
NFC playoffs continuing next Saturday and Sunday. We still don't know for sure where they're going to be played. Philadelphia wins. They go out to play the Los Angeles Rams. Atlanta wins. They play the Dallas Cowboys. First and goal. At the 1.5-yard line, Montgomery. He's short. Bomwina, number 74, Jeff Miro. Well, that Bomwina. Very, very quick. There's Vermeil. Bill Davis, you can see him wig-wagging the plays in. He has the stocking hat on and the gold.
He was what? What'd you say, Gary? He was
wig-wagging?
Wig-wagging.
A new term. Second down and goal. They're inside that 1-yard line now. Carmichael having a little trouble lining up. 6-0 Eagles to the lead. Here's Hogan. And Hogan didn't make it. So it's going to come to a 3rd and goal. And Vermeil, you can see, he is very concerned about the play coming up now. Where are they? They cannot be more than the length of a football away from that goal line. There it is. So close. 3rd and goal. Say, this Atlanta defense has been tough to score on, and here's a good example of it. Third down to give to Montgomery, and he's in. Touchdown. The ball is loose, but it's not going to be ruled a fumble because he broke the plane of the goal line, so it makes no difference.
That's exactly right. He did break the plane. He was, as a result, he has a touchdown, and Philadelphia scores again. Good surge by the offensive line and for the Philadelphia Eagles, and good running on the part of Montgomery. He dives over the top, goes in backwards, breaks the plane, then fumbles, but it's too late. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
Point after attempt. Michel missed his first attempt back in the first quarter. Shira to hold. Michel's kick is on the way, and this time he gets it, but there's a flag. Let's wait a minute. A flag at the 5. Head linesman throwing that one. And it's going to be holding against Philadelphia. So they're going to have to try it again. Put some pressure on Michel. It's amazing to me, Hank, all year long on these point afters. It used to be just an automatic. What happened to that?
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement in the kicking game, as I mentioned earlier. Here's another shot at the touchdown. They go over the left side. Montgomery surges through there in good shape. Breaks the plane.
Number 51, illegal use of the hand.
Had to be Reggie Wilkes. Wilkes is lined up on the right-hand side, or as you see it, the left-hand side. He was holding on that last play. Michel to attempt the point after once again. And this one is good. It deflected through. You'll get him any way you can, right?
It was partially blocked. The snap was perfect. The kick is partially blocked, but it still had enough stuff on it to get through the goalpost.
And turn here tomorrow in Atlanta to bring you the Purdue Georgia Tech game, the Peach Bowl at 1 o'clock tomorrow. 13-0 Philadelphia's lead. Dennis Pearson bringing it out for the Atlanta Falcons. And Pearson to the 29-yard line. He had the longest kickoff return of the year, a 100-yarder against St. Louis. Now let's look ahead. Coach Stram, if Atlanta wins, they go against Dallas. That would be next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time. However, if the Philadelphia Eagles win, then they will go to Los Angeles to meet the Rams, and that would be Sunday at 4:30 Eastern. Well, you can see there's a couple of clubs watching this game with interest today. So now from the 29-yard line, a first down for the Falcons. On first down, Bartkowski. He's going to be hit by Ray Phillips. Ray Phillips coming from the right side linebacking spot. He had time to throw that football, but nobody cleared.
That was a blitz that time by Phillips, number 52. Bartkowski is back in the pocket. There you see Phillips on standback. Standback does not block him, and that's what happens when you don't block people. They knock your quarterback down. That's very simple. That's all it amounts to, Gary, and that's what happened on that last play.
Second down, 19 yards to go from the 19-yard line. Atlanta now having to play catch-up football. They've done it before this year. Some miraculous finishes. Bartkowski on the 2nd and 19. He's got Standback over the middle. Standback giving some ground. Got a block from Bubba Bean. And he's to the 25, and that's all. Frank Lemaster coming up. Well, they get a little bit of it back, but they still have a long third down.
They want the linebackers. This time Berge is blitzing on the play, but the other linebacker has good depth. Standback runs underneath the linebackers, cuts across the field, and is finally tackled there by Lemaster after he picked up a few yards on the play. Makes a 2nd and 20. The ball on the really is 3rd and 13 now on the 26.
3 for 8 in third down conversions thus far for Atlanta. This is a very important one for him at the 6:51 mark of this third quarter. The rain now has subsided a little bit. Bartkowski back. He's hit from behind, this time by Hairston. It'll be an incomplete forward pass. No fumble. But Bartkowski really drilled that time.
Bill Berge was blitzing again on the play. There you see it. Berge coming around the outside, but he's finally hit there by Carl number 78, who jars the ball loose, and the ball is recovered. The ball is recovered, however, by
there's Carl Hairston.
Right tackle Phil McKinley, number 73.
So it's going to bring up 4th down, 13 yards. James with his average at 32.5. He gets into this one. Shira at the 36. He's having trouble, and boy, the field conditions deteriorating here. The ball will be marked at the 42. 37-yard kick that time by James. And so Philadelphia now in a 13-0 lead with a good field position. Still 6.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. We'll return in a moment. So from the 42-yard line, the Philadelphia Eagles have it. There's John Unitas, and we want to say congratulations to John and his lovely wife, Sandra. They had a 10-pound baby boy. Monday, they named him Chad Elliott, and we're really happy for him. Merry Christmas to you, Sandra. Here is a pass to Carmichael on first down. And he's not going to go anywhere. Jeff Yates made sure of that. Yates is the guy, Hank, that replaced Claude Humphrey in the 5th game when Humphrey retired, and Yates has really surprised some people.
You know, the way they came up on that last play, if Carmichael can throw the football, if they do the same thing with any kind of field position further down the field, it would be a great opportunity for them to throw the ball on top, throw it to Carmichael, Carmichael throw it downfield, because the defensive back respond very quickly to the lateral movement of the quarterback throwing the ball to Carmichael.
So a loss on that play. Going to bring up 2nd and 11. Hogan, Montgomery, the running backs. Jaworski wants to hit Carmichael. He's got him. And Carmichael across the 45 to the 43. And another first down for Philadelphia.
Here's Carmichael coming off the line of scrimmage in good stride, forcing Lawrence to take a backward step. He throws the ball right at the numbers again in good position for him to catch the ball. Makes the reception. 1st and 10, Philadelphia.
A smiling Harold Carmichael, and he should smile. He's caught a touchdown pass today, and what a year he's had. All NFC in 78.
Ernie Jackson now is playing the left cornerback position, number 30, for Lawrence.
On a first down from the 42, intended on the far side for the tight end, Osborne. Good defensive play that time by Tom Pridemore. Pridemore became the starter in the 3rd game of the year for Atlanta when Ray Easterling, their outstanding safety, injured an elbow, and he was out for the year. Both these teams have had some very costly injuries. Philadelphia would like to have Keith Kreftley play. Atlanta would like to have Alfred Jenkins and Easterling. And now 2nd and 10. That's the offensive line. Van Note, they're talking things over. They've been shut out thus far by Philadelphia. On a 2nd and 10, it's Osborne, the same play, and Pridemore's there. Pridemore covering it very well. Hank, they came right back to him.
That time they caught him in a blitz again. Jaworski threw the ball quickly outside, which is what you have to do. Pridemore played him tight enough, however. He didn't make an abundance of yards on the play, but he did pick up a little bit on that play in the flat from Jaworski to their tight end.
3rd down. 3rd down, and still 5 yards to go. Bill Berge, John Deke Sanders talking it over. Berge, the leader of that defensive corps. 3rd down conversions, 5 of 10 for Philadelphia. On the 3rd and 5, Charlie Smith. Smith got the first down. Nice catch by Smith inside the 30-yard line.
We talked about this earlier, but they have good field position, and really the way the defensive backs of Atlanta play, as loose as they are, you ought to be able to throw in front of them whenever you'd like to, and that's exactly what they're doing on this particular drive. A nice catch there by Smith in front of Ernie Jackson, number 30.
Ernie Jackson coming in there, as you mentioned, for Rollin Lawrence. We have somebody being attended to on that Eagles bench. The guy that's out, I think it's Carmichael, isn't it? He's not in there right now. They have Ken Payne and Smith. It was Carmichael that they were looking at. Here is Mike Hogan. And Hogan powers ahead on a first down. There's Carmichael testing the leg. Looks like his right leg. Boy, he has been tough. He's answered the bell every game. Made big catch after big catch this year for the Eagles. And Steve Bartkowski still looking for his first points as he stands along with June Jones III, his backup quarterback. Jones, at the start of the year, opened all the first 3 games, and then Bartkowski reclaimed the starting spot. 2nd down and 8. Jaworski on the 2nd and 8. He's hit. Boy, I mean hit. He disappeared from sight as Yates got back there, and help from Jim Bailey.
They had a good 3-man rush that time. No blitzes, no linebackers coming, and Jaworski wisely tried to hit Osborne. He was well covered, however, and threw the ball out of bounds.
Carmichael is coming back in now for Philadelphia on a 3rd and 8. Rollin Lawrence is on the sideline. He's been replaced by Jackson. There's Carmichael along with Smith. And Billy Campfield has checked in as a running back as Montgomery has come out. Harold Carmichael, 55 catches this year. This is Hogan. And Hogan got just about a yard on that play, and then he was hammered back. And there is Montgomery. Looks like he's got some problems with an elbow. Boy, he's taken a beating this year, but he's always seemingly been able to play when they've needed him most.
Yeah, he's been a very strong, durable guy all year long, and he's not overly large, but he's done a terrific job for the Philadelphia Eagles, rushing for over 1,000 yards.
Michelle will attempt, excuse me, Hank, Michelle will attempt a 42-yard field goal on 4th down. Shira to hold. Michel's kick. He falls down as he kicks it, and he doesn't get it. That's twice now. Michel has lost his footing on his follow-through. So Atlanta is able to hold as you watch Michel.
You know, kickers on this kind of a track, Gary, usually have to wear some longer cleats on their left foot. I don't know whether he made that adjustment at halftime or prior to the game, but if you have longer cleats, where you're going to have
scrimmage was a 25 after that missed field goal attempt. That's where the Falcons get it. That was his first attempt of the year, by the way. In the first 4 games, he did not kick it all. Bubba Bean with the ball. He's got a first down. And this crowd comes alive as Bubba Bean all the way out to the 43. Reggie Welch eventually caught up with it. 19-yard pickup.
I mentioned earlier that this team, here's a screen pass. Pulling to the outside. Here you see Bubba Bean running down the far sideline and picking up a nice gain on the play. But, you know, this is really an unusual team. They play so much better when they're behind offensively than they do when they're even. It's just amazing.
First down, 10 at the 44. Haskell stand back. Well, wait a minute. The ball is fumbled. It's loose, and Philadelphia's picked it up. Philadelphia and Carl Hairston.
Hairston recovered the fumble in the air. Recovered the ball in the air that time, and Philadelphia has possession. First and 10 on the Atlanta 35.
Boy, that happened quickly. Atlanta looked like they're on their way, and all of a sudden, it turns around on them. And at the 35-yard line now, Philadelphia has it. That's the 4th turnover in this game by Atlanta. The 3rd fumble that Atlanta has lost. So from the 35, the Eagles with a 13-0 lead. Carmichael not in on this play as they have Kenny Payne and Charles Smith as the wide receivers. 1:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Fumble again, and Atlanta's got it back. That's Kuykendall that came up with it.
They ran off in the I formation to the right side. Watch Kuykendall. He comes up with a play. 54 makes the recovery, and Atlanta has possession. First and 10.
That's Billy Campfield with his first carry of the day, and he didn't hang on to it. So all of a sudden, it's headed back the other direction. At the 38-yard line, Mike Lewis is the guy that made the tackle that separated the ball from Campfield. Blitz on by Edwards. Bubba Bean's got it, a flag on the play. He loses yardage, but a flag, as we mentioned, 2 flags have been thrown. Herman Edwards that time from his cornerback spot came flying through and really put the pressure on Bartkowski. Look at this. You don't think that isn't a big factor in this game? That's the first turnover just a moment ago by Philadelphia. Atlanta with 4. So evidently this penalty is going to go against Atlanta. Bill Berge having it explained to him.
You know, normally, Gary, each team has possession, puts the ball in play approximately 13 times. So far in the game, Atlanta has put it in play 10 times, and Philadelphia has also put it in play 10 times, so it's very easy from that standpoint.
So the penalty is going to be stepped off against Atlanta. And Fred Silva's going to explain it to us.
73, holding, decline, offense, 57, clipping, accepted. First down, 25.
Well, the holding was against McKinley. They refused that. Van Note, the center, was the one guilty of the clip. So now it's first and 25 from the 23-yard line.
The one thing in this situation, you don't want to try to get it all back in one play. You want to be patient and move the ball down the field and get the first downs.
Stand back in motion. He's going to get the football. And he got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Bobby Howard reacting on the play. The crowd didn't like that call.
I know they never do like anything that doesn't succeed.
There's Montgomery. Now Montgomery, you can see they're wrapping either the elbow or the upper right-hand portion of his arm. And I'm sure that is a great concern right now to Philadelphia because he was out of there. Campfield came in his place, and he fumbled the ball. Montgomery, what a year he's had. 220 yards. Second and 25. He hits his tight end, Jim Mitchell. Boy, he got hit when he released that football.
Watch Bartkowski back in the pocket, and watch when he delivers the ball. Watch the shot he gets. Boy, a beautiful hit there by Dennis Harrison, number 68. But, you know, that kind of intimidates the quarterback a little bit. The next time he goes back there, he's going to be a little concerned, possibly. He wants to get rid of the ball a little quicker than he should, and sometimes throws the ball poorly. That's what happens after that kind of a play sometimes.
It's now the 3rd and 14, make it 13 yards to go from the 35-yard line. Boy, Bartkowski taking the shot. He's back again, though. Pressure put on by Harrison again. Dennis Harrison again came storming through for Philadelphia.
He just didn't have time to set up and throw the ball like he wanted to. Here he is again. Bartkowski back in the pocket, and there's the pressure from the inside again by Harrison.
And that's going to be the end of our third quarter here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. What's the score? The Philadelphia Eagles 13, the Atlanta Falcons nothing. So we come back as we start this fourth quarter of play. It's fourth down, 13 yards to go. Atlanta's going to have to get rid of the football. Still looking to get on the scoreboard for the first time as John Shira will go back deep for this kick from John James. James kicking from his own 20. There's Shira. He's played some quarterback this year. He's played safety. He's returned punts. He has been a jack of all trades for this Eagle team.
Atlanta really has to make something happen on the specialty teams, or make a back fumble, recover a fumble, get better field position if they're going to get back in this football game.
Shira gets it out to the 45-yard line. Good field position for Philadelphia. They've enjoyed that in the second half of play. Let's go down to the sideline now and check in with Irv Cross.
Jerry, as you indicated, that Rollin Lawrence, number 22, the regular starting left cornerback, is out of the game. He pulled a hamstring muscle earlier in the week this week. He's okay today, but wasn't doing the job as far as the coaching staff was concerned. He thought Ernie Price to be more effective, number 30, so he now is manning that left cornerback spot.
Irv, thank you. And now at the 46, the Eagles with the football. We have a man down back at the 33-yard line for the Atlanta Falcons. And that's the reason for the delay right now as we've just started this fourth quarter. Marion Campbell talking to his defensive core. And thus far, they have shut out the Atlanta Falcons. And Lehman Bennett, he's got to wonder just what they got to do to get something going offensively. Ray Strong is the man that's shaken up for Atlanta. He's a backup fullback, plays very well on the special teams. And so they're attending to him at the 33.
This game's a long way from being over, though, Gary. We've seen this Atlanta team do a lot of unusual things in the fourth quarter. We've still got a lot of time left in this game.
First down 10 from the 46. Looks like a blitz going to be coming off by Kuykendall. He backs up. Jaworski expected it, I believe, and he dumps it off to Carmichael. There's a lot of statistics in football, and one that's a lot of interest to people is time of possession. Philadelphia with, what, about 2 minutes more thus far.
Overall, it's been a very even game with the exception of the scoring opportunities that Philadelphia has had, and that's why they lead 13-0.
You win a lot of football games, can't you, Coach, if you can hang on to that football?
Certainly is the best defense in the world, Gary, as you know.
Second and 10.
They're all blitzing in a blitzing position. Now, whether they'll come or not, no, they backed off that time.
He dumps it off to Montgomery, who's back in the game. Montgomery doesn't go anywhere.
See, that time they guessed right. They fooled Jaworski that time. They looked like they were going to blitz, and right before the ball was snapped, they anticipated the count extremely well, backed out of there. Jaworski thought they'd be blitzing. They didn't, and as a result, that play was not successful. Frank Reed and Dewey McClain made the tackle on the play, number 52.
That's Jeff Van Note. He's the graybeard of that offensive line for Atlanta in his 10th year. And there's Michelle, who attempted his first field goal since taking over the field goal kicking chores 5 games ago. Third down, 15 yards to go. Jaworski in trouble. And he dropped. The ball is loose. Is it going to be ruled a fumble or a dead ball? No determination yet.
I think they rule it a dead ball. Let's see what he calls, but I think that's what the official calls.
You can see the wrestling going on. Stan Walder, 75, is still trying to get it.
I don't think the official really saw the fumble at all.
Let's go back and see on replay what did happen on the play.
Well, Berzina was blitzing on the play, and Jeff Yates makes the tackle. There goes the ball that pops loose, but I don't think that the official really saw the ball being fumbled at all. He declared it a dead ball, and of course, it's a 4th down situation for the Philadelphia.
Jaworski is hurt on the play. You can see he's up now. He's going off on his own power, but Yates hit him from behind, and he landed kind of funny, didn't he? That's what it was. It looked like he doubled his leg under Yates.
Could have been.
And then Kuykendall finished it off. He's coming off the field. It's 4th down, 22 now. Michelle the kick. Rickman back. Oh, what a kick. That's the best kick of the day. Rickman, a tough catch to make. He's the 20. Flags on the play. He's out to the 30-yard line. 2 flags went into the air. And it looks like it's going to go against Atlanta. Boy, that was some kick that time. A 47-yard kick that time by Michelle.
Beautiful. He gets a good drop. Makes good contact, good follow through, gets off the ground with a left foot, which means that he initiates a lot more power. Beautiful kick that time by Michelle.
Well, it's flipping against Atlanta. And so the Falcons, Hank, you look at them, they just haven't had the field position at all in the second half.
No, they haven't. They started on the 34 one time, 29, 25, minus 38.
Number 30, first down.
And now they start on about the 7-yard line.
So with 13:25, Atlanta starting now to be a little concerned about the time. Francis, Rickman, the wide receivers. The line of scrimmage. They're going to mark it on the 8-yard line. On the beam, check that, stand back. Haskell stand back, comes out across the 10. Bill Berge, line over to make the stop. So Atlanta having a tough time getting their offense on track. But you got to give a lot of credit to this Philadelphia defense. One thing about Philadelphia, they're tough not only physically, but mentally, and you see Jaworski having his left ankle wrapped.
You know, and the other thing about both teams, they're very similar in so many respects, personality-wise. Both teams have done a terrific job in the 4th quarter.
2nd and 5 for the 13. Philadelphia has outscored their opponents in the 4th quarter 190 to 44. Here's Bartkowski off to Alfred Jackson, the rookie from Texas. And I don't believe he got far enough up the field to pick up that first down. Here's Ray Strong. Looks like they're wrapping ice on him.
Yeah, it looks like it's a knee.
Ray Strong. It's been a real surprise this year for the Atlanta Falcons. Looks like his competition is over for today. 3rd down, a yard to go. At the 17-yard line. They have 2 tight ends in now. Actually have 3 tight ends in on this play. Again to Standback, and Standback's not going to get it. It's going to bring up a 4th down.
It's an unusual call again from that formation because it takes an awful long time to get the ball from the left side of the ball to the right side, and by the time you get there, I mentioned that several times, by the time you get there to this kind of a track, the defense caves in, reacts, and responds, and it's difficult to make the yardage. They didn't make it. Now they're forced to kick in this situation.
John James kicking from his own 2-yard line. Shira goes back deep. Time 11:30. The clock is moving. 4th quarter, 13-0. Philadelphia. Their first playoff in 18 years, and they're trying to continue this 78 season. Fair catch, Shira, and he had Tom Moriarty, number 45, right on top of him. A 34-yard kick that time by John James. So Philadelphia with that 13-point lead, 11-17. They have possession just short of the 50-yard line. So Atlanta talking things over. Bubba Bean, number 44. Ricky Patton. Check that. That's James Wright, number 83, talking things over. With Hank Stram, I'm Gary Bender, and we have 11-17 left in this game. You know, Atlanta, Hank, has only one first down in the second half.
They haven't had much of an opportunity to have working room. Nope, that's all right. It's like a tackle move.
That's Osborne, the tight end, in motion. Montgomery on the first down, and Montgomery across the 50-yard line. He's into the Atlanta end of the field. Jeff Yates making the tackle. And so Philadelphia now will be very content to eat up as much time as they can on the clock. Jaworski in the passing department. You know, Ron this year cut down on the interceptions. He's taken over the leadership of this team. He's a fiery competitor. And Vermeil says we think a lot alike. He's been calling the plays for him. On a 2nd and 8, he has it now at the 49 of Atlanta. On the 2nd and 8, Smith looks like he trapped that one. They will not rule a completion.
He definitely trapped the ball. It was just a little bit too low. Brzezina was blitzing on the play. But didn't get the penetration that time. And Jaworski was able to get it off, but threw it just a little bit too low.
3rd down and 8. Myers that time coming up, covering on the play. 3rd and 8 from the 49, and it's gotten a little bit lighter here. It's still raining a little, but the skies have brightened considerably. And now Atlanta needs to hold. As you look at Ray Strong. Ken Payne, Charles Smith, the wide receivers. Hogan, Montgomery, the running backs.
Here comes a blitz, safety blitz.
And they try to get it off to Smith. Did he catch it? Boy, if he did, that would have been a... No, he did not. Looked like for a moment he might have that ball. That would have been a great catch had he made it.
Yes, but he didn't. And that's the only thing that counts. It's a little bit low. He got hit right about the time he was making contact with the ball, and it fell incomplete. Ernie Jackson, number 30, made the play.
So Michelle will kick. See, this will be his 8th punt of the game. Wickman goes back deep for Atlanta. And snap. He has to hurry, and he gets it very high. Rickman with a fair catch at the 11.5-yard line. See the hang time on that one. 4.1 on the hang time, a 37-yard kick. The highlights of the Roberto Duran Monroe Brooks bout on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular. Boy, the crowd, they want something to happen now. First down, 10 at the 12, Atlanta. Trailing by 13 points. Bartkowski's going to go deep. He's got his man from the Bean, and Bean can't hang on. See Ron Jaworski give him a pat on the back when he got up over there.
You know, he rolled to his right and threw the ball back to his left. The ball was beautifully thrown, and he should have caught it. Just dropped the pass. That's all there was to it. Bubba Bean, number 44, licking the linebacker, 52, Phillips. It was exactly what you like, a back on a linebacker. He had him licked. He was wide open, just dropped the football.
Second down, 10 from the 12. Jackson now comes in at a wide receiver along with Billy Rickman. The crowd chanting. Atlanta running out of time at the 10:07 mark. Bartkowski to Jackson. Intercepted by Bobby Howard. Howard to the 50, to the 40, to the 35-yard line, and he's all the way to the 30-yard line of Atlanta. Bobby Howard picking off another one. Boy, what an acquisition for the Philadelphia Phillies. Eagles, and Bobby Howard coming up with a second interception.
And that time they faked outside like he was going to go outside and then broke up the field on the play. But Howard made a fine interception. Alfred Jackson was running the deep pattern, 85. Howard made the interception and brings it back in good field position for the Philadelphia Eagles. They have possession now. 1st and 10 and about the 28 going in.
So the Falcons tried to open up. They had one pass dropped, so the next one intercepted. 1st down now at the 28-yard line, Wilbert Montgomery. Nothing doing on that play. Wilson Pomwina, and there's the turnovers again, Hank. That's the story. 5 of them. That was a 23-yard return on that last interception by Bobby Howard. 2nd down, still 10 yards to go. I tell you, there he is, the man that picked it off, Bobby Howard, being congratulated by his teammates, and what a big day for him. On a 2nd and 10, Jaworski gets it off to his big tight end, Osborne, and Osborne, the forward progress will be to the 25. Tom Pridemore over there to make the stop, and we're going to come to a 3rd down.
And Brazina was blitzing again on the play, the weak side linebacker, number 50. And Jaworski got the ball off in good shape to his tight end, Osborne. I didn't make a lot of yardage on the play, but made the reception. And now it's a 3rd down situation for the Philadelphia Eagles.
3rd and 7. Just outside the 25-yard line. The Eagles with a 13-0 lead. They'd really like to put the capper on this one.
Here comes the blitz again. They tipped it that time.
Kenny Payne catches the pass, and Payne has a 1st down, and Jaworski just kind of picking away at him.
Jaworski is doing something that's very important, and that is he's changing the rhythm, changing the count. That time he went on a long count, and hoping that the Atlanta team would declare what they were going to do. They did exactly that. They got into the gaps. They advertised, we're going to blitz, here we come. He wisely changed the play at the line of scrimmage and was able to take advantage of that long count situation.
There's Jaworski's stats for the day. He came in here hitting 52% of his passes in the 1978 season. On a 1st down for the 15, a give up the middle to Hogan. And that ball may have been jarred loose. Who's got it? Hogan carrying up the middle.
And that time Frank Reed, the strong safety, was blitzing. They have a distinct personality inside the 20-yard line. The strong safety likes to blitz, and then they get inside the 10-yard line. The weak safety likes to blitz. That time Reed did blitz on the play.
Atlanta's got the ball. Oh, it took a long time to determine, but Atlanta came up with a football. Who's getting up? Pridemore, and looks like Kuykendall is the guy that got it. That's who it is.
Here you see Hogan going up the middle. And he gets Jeff Merrill, number 75. Reed made good contact. Hit him head on, and Kuykendall was able to make the recovery. Number 54.
So Kuykendall coming up with the fumble. And Atlanta is not dead yet. With 8:16 left to go. They have the ball at the 12-yard line. They'd like to hang on and win here. Get another crack at the Los Angeles Rams, who they lost to on a last-second field goal at the start of this year. Markowski, thus far 11 for 22 and passing on a 1st down from the 13-yard line. The far side, coming up to catch is Dennis Pearson. First time we've seen him from the line of scrimmage, and Pearson, who caught 5 passes this year, comes up with it. 1st down.
Goes right down on Herman. Breaks to the outside. The ball is right on the money, and he makes the catch. 1st down, Atlanta.
Boy, I tell you, Hank, as many times as Atlanta's come back, they can believe they can do it again. They've done it time and time again. Pearson and Jackson, both of them rookies, are the wide receivers on a 1st down. Markowski on a blitz. He had to get rid of it. Big pressure put on that time. Dennis Harrison, coming from the left-hand side, was first to get there.
And then Bill Berge was also blitzing on the play, number 66.
Looks like Steve a little shaken up on that play. Steve Bartkowski. And so it'll come to a 2nd and 10 from the 26-yard line. One thing about Philadelphia, they're not known for their blitzing, but they've done a pretty judicious job of using that today.
Yeah, the timing of their blitzes has been excellent. change of pace has been very good.
On the second down, 10. Jackson and Pearson again, the wide receivers. Bartkowski under some pressure. He's got Wallace Francis down there. Who's got it? Shira is back there. They're giving it to Wallace Francis.
Both came down with a football, and any time both the defensive player and the offensive player have possession, it goes automatically to the offensive player. Jackson made a great play. Great play. He really took it away from John Sanders, number 26. Wally Francis. Yeah, Wally Francis that time really made a fantastic play.
They had 3 wide receivers in on that. A 49-yard pass completion to the 25-yard line. John Sanders had half of it, but the tie always goes to the offense.
The mistake Sanders made that time, he waited for the ball to come down. Had he gone after the ball and caught it high, he'd have made the interception, but he didn't, and as a result, Francis was able to take the ball away from him.
The fans are on their feet here. Bartkowski dumps it off to Bubba Bean. Bubba Bean to the 20, to the 15-yard line, and that should be another first down. Carl Hairston, Reggie Wilkes combine on the stop, but Bubba Bean picks up another first down for the Falcons.
A nice screen pass developing to the outside to Bubba Bean, 44. He cut back in a little bit prematurely. He had some blockers out in front, but he took what he could get and got the ball down in good shape. First and 10, Atlanta.
You see Papali and Michelle looking on. They hope the Eagles can hang on here at the 15-yard line of first down. Bartkowski up to Bubba Bean. They're going to lose yardage on that one. Reggie Wilkes. Boy, that Wilkes is going to be around for a long time in the NFL.
He's very active, strong, and responds well to both the run and the pass.
You see the time remaining. 5:35. 13-0. That point that they missed still leaves the door open for the Atlanta Falcons. The point after. At the 19-yard line, second down, 15 yards to go. Atlanta trying to capitalize on a 49-yard pass completion to Wallace Francis.
Room in the left corner, on the right corner, to the left side of the ball.
Bartkowski in the end zone, broken up beautifully. Jackson, the intended receiver, Randy Logan got back there, and at the last instant got a hand on it.
There you see it. He throws, really, it looked like he had a chance to make the play to Jim Mitchell, but by the time the ball got there, why the safety, Randy Logan, 41, came in and made a great play.
There's Randy Logan, the former standout at the University of Michigan, and he just came up with a touchdown-saving deflection. Third down, 15 yards to go. There's your time remaining, 5:01. Bartkowski back to Mitchell. Touchdown. Jim Mitchell has put him back in the picture.
I tell you, this is an amazing team, the way they've come back in the fourth quarter. They still have a big job to do, but they've at least started on the comeback in this fourth quarter with 4 minutes and 56 seconds left on the clock.
This is a 19-yard scoring strike to the big tight end.
And he was wide open. Bartkowski looked to his left and then came back to his right to Mitchell, made the catch, wide open, touchdown, Atlanta.
This place is in bedlam right now as Massetti to attempt the point after. Massetti's kick is up. It's good. And all of a sudden now, it's a 13-7 game. The Atlanta Falcons have climbed right back in. Don't go away. We have a lot of football left. Dick Vermeer looking on as this team now, that should 13-7 with 4:56 left in this game, and it's not over. There it is, 13-7. Louis Giamona, Billy Campfield are back as the twin safeties for Philadelphia as Vermeer's team not out of this one yet. Massetti to kick off. This is Giamona to the 20, and he brings it out to the 24-yard line, and you no doubt can hear the roar of this crowd in the background. return was 16 yards by Giamona from the 24. Jaworski gives to Montgomery. Montgomery's going to get a yard, and that's all. And Hank, this crowd is going crazy. Wilson Baumwina made the stop.
The emotional pitch of this crowd and this football team is at a very high level at this particular stage. It was sagging, and understandably so when they were behind 13-0, but they really picked up the tempo, and it's 2nd and 9 now for Philadelphia. Yes, they've got to try desperately to make a first down and not give the ball back to Atlanta because they could be right back in this football game with good field position.
2nd down and 9. You see the time in the upper right-hand portion of the screen. Jaworski wants to throw. He's got Smith, and Smith didn't get it.
I think they talked him out of it. It looked like he did have it. Watch what happens here now. I really thought he did drop it. That was a good call. Very good call, but that's why, really from this angle, or a lot of times from the sideline, we as coaches or fans, you think maybe the official blew one, but there's such a great illustration of what a good job they do because he called that one perfect.
3rd down and 9. You can see what this crowd means to this Atlanta football team. They've been 7-1 at home this year, and part of that enthusiasm coming forth right now. Payne, Smith, the wide receivers. On a 3rd and 9 from the 25.
They're blitzing everybody.
Look out, here comes Brzezina chasing Jaworski, and Jaworski is hit. Coming over is Dewey McLean, number 52.
Everybody but the coaching staff blitz on that play, Gary. And Jaworski had to run out of the pocket. But you see him get tackled there by Dewey McLean, number 52.
And so, with the sun now breaking through the clouds, Michelle will kick to Rickman with 3:27, and the clock is moving. Michelle, the last time, really got into one. 47-yard kick. He needs another like that right now. You can see LeMaster having to yell the signals out. It's so loud here. Michelle didn't get into that one as well. Rickman from the 40-yard line. And good coverage that time by Cleveland Franklin. He got him by the face mask. Cleveland Franklin got him by the face mask, and that'll tack 15 yards on. A 32-yard kick by Michelle. That's exactly what they didn't want to have happen. And now Atlanta, who's come from behind so often this year, now will have excellent field position. The Falcons this year won 4 games in the final 10 seconds of play, and they may come down that again.
Number 30 on the run back. Personal foul, face mask. First down.
So the penalty sets it up at the 50-yard line. There's your time. 3 minutes remaining. 13-7. Philadelphia the lead. And Atlanta's got to have the touchdown. And, of course, that all-important point after.
They have their 3 receivers in the game. They take out the tight end.
This crowd now getting quiet. So Bartkowski can mark the signals out on the first down. And that play was a dangerous play. Bubba Bean, the intended receiver.
And Berge that time was blitzing on the play. He threw in the flats of Bubba Bean that time, but it was almost intercepted.
You could see that develop, couldn't you, Hank?
Yes. Waited a little bit too long. He couldn't find anybody open. Decided to throw the ball to the safety valve. And the defensive back was right there and almost made a play and an interception.
That was Michelle. Looks like he injured his tongue or his mouth. There's your timeout situation. All of them remaining for both sides. And there's your time, 2:54. You see it with a 2nd and 10 now for the midfield stripe. 13-7, Philadelphia the lead. Bartkowski back on the 2nd and 10. Over the middle, he has his man. That's Francis again. And the ball is is going to be marked at the 38-yard line. Francis is...
Wally Francis is hurt on the play, seemingly. He just got shaken up a little bit on the play, I'm sure. But they were in a three-receiver situation. Wally Francis went right down the middle in front of the safety man, Randy Logan, and stopped. There he is. Logan makes the tackle, but Francis makes the catch, and that's a first down opportunity for the Atlanta Falcons.
Now we have an official timeout while they get Francis off the field. There's his receptions for the day.
2:32 left in the game.
Second down, should say first down and 10 from the 37-yard line. 3 wide receivers in the game now for Atlanta. Give to Bubba Bean instead. And Bean inside the 35 to the 33. Ken Clark made the stop. They're going to let him play down to the 2-minute warning now?
I'm sure that's what they're going to do.
So we're going to come to the 2-minute warning. The issue is still very much unsettled here in Atlanta. 2 minutes remaining. The ball will be at the 32-yard line. It'll be second down and 5. Atlanta trailing 13-7 and trying to pull out a game. They've done it on 4 different occasions earlier this year in the last 10 seconds of play. 13-7, 2 minutes remaining. From the 32-yard line, Atlanta, as you look at Dick Vermeil, he looks very calm, but boy, he's got to be turning inside as he sees the Falcons come to the line of scrimmage with a second and 5. Francis, Jackson, Rickman, 3 wide receivers. Bartkowski with 201 yards passing now. Has time. Bubba Bean, he can't get it, and it's going to be a third down. Looks like we have a penalty, too. A flag on the play back at the 40-yard line. It's holding against Atlanta. What that does, it really changes your play calling. You would have had a third and 5, and now you're going to have 15 yards to go. Bill Berge. They've got to go for the touchdown. There's no field goal thinking here with a 13-7 lead. Bartkowski, who's had a hot hand now in this fourth quarter, he is 16 of 30 for 201 yards for the day.
Offense, number 78, holding.
That's Mike Kent, the rookie, their number 1 draft pick out of Michigan. That was holding. Now we have a second down, 15 yards to go. There he is. Big guy, 6'6", 260-pounder.
Dennis Pearson just went into the game for Billy Rickman. They got Wally Francis, Jackson, and Dennis Pearson, the 3 wide receivers in the game at this time.
That should be a second down at 15 with 1:54 as Bartkowski rolling. He's got Francis, and he's still about 10, maybe 11 yards short of that first down. Bobby Howard reacting on the play. There's the time with 1:46, and it's getting down now to the very close to the end. We come to a third down. Third down and about 10.5 yards to go. I want to thank our statistician, Joe Willingham, our spotter, Rick Baker, for their help today on this telecast. Third down, 10.5. Well, Hank, this is a big play.
Still have the 3 wide receivers in, naturally. Rickman is back in the game for Pearson.
Bartkowski got time to throw. He's got a man open, Francis! Wallace Francis was wide open.
He went right down the middle. He was in the slot. Right down the middle of the zone defense. Hit the seam. Bartkowski really spotted him perfectly, got the ball right on the money. Touchdown for Atlanta. Unbelievable.
You know, in the pregame show in the NFL today, we saw that hugging scene a couple of times in the end zone. They pulled him out twice like that before, and they come right back here today.
Looks like an instant replay of the 4 games they won in the waning seconds of the game during the course of the season.
Boy, was he open on that play.
They were concerned about the outside receivers, and they let Francis go right down the middle. He was wide open. He got the ball perfectly, and the touchdown Atlanta.
13-13. Mazzetti trying to end the thing after he got it. And Atlanta takes the lead.
Here we go again. Jaworski does a Bartkowski does a good job of faking left, throwing it right down the middle.
This place is in bedlam. A 37-yard touchdown strike has given Atlanta the lead. After the point after, Dick Vermeil, well, his team with 1:39 with which to pull it out. He talks things over with Ron Jaworski. You know, Francis in this game, including that last catch, had 6 catches for 135 yards. That's an amazing effort. And Lehman Bennett, it took a long time to get on track offensively, but they have come back to score a touchdown in each of the last 2 quarters.
But I mentioned this several times, just amazing how much better they play offensively when they're behind in a game. I'd like to see them sometime come off the bus and play like they're behind and start a game that way, because I think they blow somebody right out of the ballpark, but they wait till they're behind to do that kind of firework.
Louis Giamona is going to bring it out for the Eagles. 25, 30, and he has a head of steam on as his forward progress is close to the 35-yard line. Want to take this opportunity to thank our producer, Bob Stenner, and our director, Tony Vernon. Gentlemen, your pros. Our associate producer, Gail Bledsoe. As we now have the ball at the 34-yard line, a first down, 1:32 left.
And that's a lot of time, Gary. 1:32. They have 3 timeouts. There's still a lot of fireworks we're going to have here before this thing is over. Keep in mind that they just have to get close enough to kick a field goal.
Carmichael, by the way, is not in the lineup now. Is back to throw. Jaworski over the middle, and trying to come up with it is Charlie Smith again. He's had 2 of them who were very close, but nothing doing.
That time Jaworski threw the ball a little bit prematurely. He had enough time to set up and throw the ball, but he didn't have much on it that time. Threw it into the ground, and it falls incomplete. 1:27 seconds left in this game.
That was Pridemore defending on the play for Atlanta. They have 3 timeouts remaining. They beat Philadelphia. 1:27 left. 2nd and 10 from the 34. Over the middle. And Charles Smith comes up with this one, and they're alive. They're alive and well at the 49-yard line. They're going without a huddle.
And I'm surprised that time they blitzed them that time, which gave them man-for-man coverage and an opportunity to get 1-for-1, and he completed the pass.
Now remember, they have a field goal attempt. Michelle has attempted only 1 in the entire season, and he missed that one earlier today. Jaworski to Hogan. And Hogan is going to make it just about to the 45-yard line, and I believe we'll have a timeout call. Philadelphia has asked, and they have received a timeout with 54 seconds left. There's Michelle, and boy, what pressure he would have. In the last 4 regular season games, he was never called upon to kick a field goal. He had never kicked one until he attempted one today, and he missed that one. The timeout's left. Atlanta, Philadelphia has only 1 left. We'll be back in a moment. 14-13. There's our score. Philadelphia with 1 timeout left. They took one earlier. And now the ball is resting just outside the 45-yard line of Atlanta.
And the key to the whole thing, really, Gary, as you know, is the fact that they just have to get close enough, move the ball down the field for a couple of first downs, get in the situation where they can attempt a field goal. If they kick it, they win the game.
2nd down, 4. Kenny Payne is in the lineup. He's split out along with Charles Smith.
Safety blitz. They're all blitzing again.
Jaworski bypasses it. He's throwing deep. And down there is Orrin Middlebrook. Orrin Middlebrook had it for a second. Ernie Jackson.
Middlebrook had the ball and just dropped it. I was surprised Atlanta came with everybody that time. Watch it. Look at it. He had possession, and then he dropped the ball. Ernie Jackson was responsible for jarring the ball loose. There you see it again. He has possession, and Ernie knocks it through there. A a good play by
Warren Middlebrook, and Middlebrook, you know, hasn't caught a pass. He was a young man they picked up as a free agent after playing with Denver, and now it's 3rd and 4. From the 45-yard line, 3rd and 4. Jaworski this time, he hits his man Middlebrook. Middlebrook going to get out of bounds. He stops the clock, and it's another first down. So they go right back to him, and
yeah, 38 seconds left in the game.
Boy, they played awfully loose on this one, didn't they?
Well, and of course that's their personality. They play loose all the time, even though they blitz.
See Bias, 38, finally bumped him out, but now it's a first down at the 34, and boy, it is coming down to the last second.
It's getting sticky.
There's Vermeil. First down, 10 from the 34. You see the time remaining. Jaworski to Smith. He has it, too. What a catch by Smith. And they used the timeout. They only have one remaining.
They call the timeout. They call the timeout.
And so with 27 seconds left, the ball is now outside the 15-yard line.
That's a great catch by Smith. He had to come back a little bit for the ball. Brzezina was blitzing on the play. But the big thing is they can't deprive themselves of the opportunity to get out of the kicking range. They're in that range right now. All they want to do probably is get a little closer so they give Michelle an opportunity to get the ball up through the goalpost.
Mike Michelle, number 2, is the guy that would have to kick it. He missed a 42-yarder earlier, and he's never made one this season for the Philadelphia Eagles.
What he's done in the past is very unimportant. The only thing that's going to be important is what he does with this opportunity when the time comes.
27 seconds.
A lot of room on the right side to throw the ball short again.
First down, 10, just outside the 15-yard line. Jaworski is deflected. Somebody in the interior of that line reached up.
Carmichael that time was running an inside pattern, a post flag that time, and he looked like he really had Bias licked on the play, except there was a deflection. There you see it. A deflection on the play, and it falls incomplete. Famina makes the deflection. Number 74, the defensive tackle.
All right, you see McLean, number 52, coming onto the gridiron, and leaving will be Jim Baylor. Second down, 10 from the 16. Dick Vermeil saying, hey, let's keep things under control here. No timeouts remaining. From the 16-yard line, 22 seconds left. A blitz. He got rid of it. Carmichael covered very well that time, and it's a third down 10. Well, here comes number 2, Mike Michelle, and it's down to the last play. Oh, boy. Michelle has never kicked a field goal successfully. He missed a 42-yarder back in the third quarter. Here we go. This is going to be a 34-yard attempt, and I believe Atlanta's going to call a timeout and make him think about it. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Good move on the part of Atlanta to make him think a little bit more about the kick that he's going to try to make on this next snap.
You know what's interesting about this? There's been one situation all year long that Vermeil has never been able to solve, and that was a kicking game. He shuffled punters around. Then when Nick Nickemeyer went down with a broken ribs, he elected not to add another field goal kicker. He felt that Michelle could do both. And now the day of reckoning has come. Right now with 17 seconds, he's going to find out whether that decision was a good one. Boy, this game has so many little things. Hank, do you think they could maybe try another down before they try the field goal?
Well, they evidently felt they didn't want a number 1. The only thing they could do was throw a pass. If they tried to throw a pass and they blitzed and they caught him in the blitz and threw him back deeper into the backfield, it would have been a longer kick. Plus the fact they have no timeouts. They don't want to take a chance of blowing the opportunity to at least try to win the game with a field goal, and I think it's a very wise decision.
Okay, 17 seconds. I wonder if Atlanta would call another one. All right, 34-yard attempt by Michelle. Skyra to hold. We'll just watch it and you'll know.
It's good. No.
Oh, it isn't.
No good. I thought it was good. It's no good.
There's still 13 seconds left, but the fans are on the field. And look at Michelle. Greg Brasina, one of the fine, outstanding men down there, and I'm sure he had some words of condolences to Mike Michelle. And this place is in Bedlam. This game isn't over yet.
There's still 13 seconds left in the clock, so the game is not.
There's Bartkowski, and what a come-from-behind effort. They're all over the field. They may not be able to continue this game. They have to, but it doesn't look like they're going to get it done right now. Look at that. They're still pouring out of the stands. Boy, the Michelle kick, it veered right on him, Hank, as it took off.
It looked like it was through there, and it sailed to the right. You're exactly right. And I was way premature in making that call, but got swallowed up in the excitement of it, but it looked like it was good when it took off.
Let's go down now with Brent Musburger, and let's see if we can figure out what's happening down there. Brent, take it.
It is like New Year's Eve down here on the field in Atlanta. Norman, we got 13 seconds we got to get in.
I know. They're probably gonna relinquish the 13 seconds to give it to Atlanta, I think.
I'll tell you, Jane, you ever been through anything quite like this?
Not quite like this. They were saying they were going to pull it off, and that's what I meant earlier when I said wait till the second half. Atlanta, you never know what they're going to do when it comes right down to it.
Well, I see some of the Atlanta players now are headed down out of the tunnel out here, and they are still trying to get the people off. And what a remarkable story this year it has been, Greg.
It was beautiful.
I mean, I loved it. Let's go back upstairs right now to Gary Bender.
Okay, Brent, thank you. And, boy, you can see the emotion in this football game. Louis Giamona down there earlier, Michelle. Atlanta, who has won 3 games, 20-17 in the last seconds. Leading in this one, 14-13. They just seem to be a team of destiny, if there's any such thing, Hank. To win 4 games in the last 10 seconds. At one stage, they were 1-3 in the early going. Things looked bad for them, and boy, they've been able to hang on, and look where they are right now.
You really have to give a lot of credit to both coaching staffs and both teams, Dick Vermeil and, of course, Lehman Bennett. Both teams played extremely well all year long and did a great job of withstanding adversity and making things happen, coming from behind, winning football games. And this was a fantastic game here this afternoon.
All right.
A great compliment, really, to the Atlanta Falcons to come back and win it like they did.
We'll be back in just a moment. 14-13. They're now clearing the field. They must finish this football game before it can become history. And so we'll pick it up after this missed field goal attempt of 34 yards.
There you see it. Looked like it was just sailed right off to the right before it got to the upright.
And so now, at the 20-yard line, Atlanta has it. It's really academic, but they must finish it. Of course, you got to remember that miracle the Meadowlands. There was a fumble in that game. Philadelphia ran it in. But something like that to happen again, well, the crowd is still milling around the sidelines. Capacity crowd of better than 60,000, and tell you what, if you watch the Atlanta Falcons play, you better check your heart. They have really had some photo finishes this year. So with 13 seconds left, Atlanta, before they can put this one away, move in against the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC playoffs. We've got to grind out the remaining time. Of course, Philadelphia has no timeouts left, so they just have to snap the ball one time. Bartkowski will fall on it, and that'll do it. And the Atlanta Falcons have won as Dick Vermeil walks off, and he has to be disappointed. His team leading 13-0 at half. losing this one 14-13 as Bartkowski and company came back, as they have all year long, to pull this